day of the football season in Scotland, and we've got one more massive match still to come. One more hurdle in particular for Motherwell to clear, because they are very much in control of this playoff final. The Steelmen have a 2-goal advantage from the first leg. They are gearing up in that dressing room for a battle. They know Rangers will give everything to make it back to the Premiership. And if anyone can produce a miracle here, it's surely Stuart McCall, back at the place he called home for almost 4 years, back at Fir Park, where he had so much success. He must inspire the Gers, because they have a mountain to climb.
Under pressure, there's no getting away from it. You can almost feel the tension biting. A win, and it's deflected in! Motherwell strong first! Against the left foot of Johnson, the snap header! It's another one! It's advantage Motherwell going into the return leg.
You just never know what drama these playoffs will produce. We've got the Scotland manager with us today in Gordon Strachan, former Motherwell man and Scotland captain over there in Gary McAllister, and Davy Weir as well, an ex-Rangers captain. Plenty of experience. It looks absolutely beautiful behind us, but I think you can give everyone a weather update.
Don't be fooled. I'm hanging on here with the wind, and I've put the jersey on, so it really is. It's going to be a difficult day for the players. But I don't expect some great football. I'm expecting excitement, and I think the wind will probably add to that.
The 50-mile-an-hour gusts, I think, but it's in Motherwell's hands, isn't it, Gordon? After that victory at Ibrox.
Listen, there's two sets of players out there, and players will decide what's going to go on the day. Players are going to decide who's got to jump the highest. It's not about tactics, who's got to run the quickest, and who's not got to pack in just when you need somebody to stand up and be counted. It's got to be about character today, and these things test you. These playoffs test you, and games like today, you can't hide out there. Your character will be tested.
You have to say the game plan was well executed at Ibrox, though, from Ian Barraclough's point of view, Gary.
Well, right from the off, I thought he showed intent with the team that he picked. You know, the two wide guys, you know, they caused them problems the whole night through Johnson and Ainsworth. But here, when everyone gets in the wide, Zalewskis looks vulnerable. And I thought he should have showed him the other way. Allow him to come inside, he decided to goal. And again, Zalewskis not picking up. Steve McManus, who's good at this. You know, he can get a goal. He's good in the opponent's box. And this is a classic goal for me. Snapping into the challenges there, and it's the pace here and the intensity. Look at the movement, look at the desire of Ainsworth here to join the attack. And he's run a good 60, 70 yards to get that effort and goal. And they deserve to be 3 up.
They were excellent on the counter-attack, but this goal for Rangers gives them hope, Davy. What chance of a comeback do you think?
I think that gives them a little bit of hope. I think up until then, the way the game was going, Motherwell had a chance to even make it 4 earlier in the game, so I think that's given them a little bit of sniff and given them hope. But it's still a long way back. But as we know, the conditions, and you know, it's a big game, so there's a lot of football still to be played.
One more twist and turn maybe in Stuart McCall's season.
Well, he's waiting for it looks like a haircut, a lucky haircut. You know, when
he used to do that.
When you get the look, I've done it many times. It doesn't work. But you say we're talking about the game there. But if you look at the counter-attacks with Motherwell, the counter-attack with 4 players and 2 midfield players sat. So they're clever at everything they did. So even when Rangers won the ball back, they still had 6 to beat.
OK, let's get the all-important team news now. Over to Derek Ray. I think he's got the team sheets in hand. Derek.
Yes, I have, Darryl. Tension levels heightened down here. That's understandable given the magnitude of this. Everyone a bit more tight-lipped than usual, but here is what has come out. Motherwell are unaltered, so the same side that lined up at Ibrox on Thursday. They take a chance on Stephen Pearson, who had to be replaced late on in the first leg due to a tight hamstring. No such worries for Stevie Hamill, who also went off in Govan. Anthony Straker, I should tell you, is absent today for family reasons. Rangers, 3 changes, one of them enforced. Darren McGregor suspended, so club captain Lee McCullough comes back in. Shane Ferguson and Chris Boyd are preferred to Dean Shields and Nicky Clark. There is talk of a few Rangers players carrying knocks. Will it be 3 at the back or 4 at the back for Rangers? I think that's still up in the air. I would probably plump for 3 at the back, but we'll see when the game starts. It really is going to be a fascinating occasion. Darryl?
Derek, thank you very much. That's the big question. Gary, do you see it being 3 at the back?
I think it'll be 3 at the back. Especially we hear that Lee Wallace is he was a bit 50-50 coming into this game, a little bit of a problem with his hamstring. So him playing left centre back, it just allows him to stay at home and allows Shane Ferguson to go and play up and down that left hand side.
Darren McGregor, of course, is suspended today. Rangers are missing player of the season, Davy.
Yeah, it is. It's a big miss, and you don't like changing your back 4 or your back 3, you know, if you don't have to. So, you know, Lee McCullough coming in is a able deputy and obviously got a lot of experience, and this will, you know, a game like this today will test all that experience.
We'll reflect on the Motherwell team in just a second, but now over to Stephen Craigan, who of course he's back at his old home today. All doors are open, and in fact I think he's out in the pitch with one of the players now. Stephen.
Yes, Darryl, I'm joined by Motherwell defender Josh Law ahead of today's crucial game. And Josh, first of all, what's the relationship like with brother Nicky since Thursday?
Yeah, it's all right, yeah. Obviously I had the bragging rights Thursday night, but yeah, we had a little chat about it Thursday and that was it. Then both was concentrating on this game today, so yeah, it's not bad.
So what's your general feel today, you know, coming into the match?
Yeah, I just think we've got to approach it like it's like we're going in 0-0, and I think we'll be in danger if we think we're 2 goals clear, then we'll end up sitting back. So we've just got to approach it as a 0-0 and try and do the same again.
What's been the message from the management staff since Thursday, Josh?
Yeah, they're saying, they've said obviously nothing's done yet and nowhere near done, so everyone get their heads on it, and like we say, it's another game and we need to treat it like it's a cup final, which it is really. So just concentrate on that and try and win the game.
And I'm guessing, you know, on Thursday that was probably Motherwell's best performance of the season, but today the performances are relevant. It's about the result.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you say, we turned up Thursday and put in a good performance, but I'm sure every single person in the stadium, Motherwell side anyway, will take a scrappy 0-0 or a scrappy 1-0. So like you say, it's all about the result today. Good luck, Josh, today, and also good luck next week for the wedding. Cheers, thanks, Craig.
Stephen, thank you very much. It's some story, isn't it? The brothers up against each other, off to a wedding. Josh getting married, Nicky's best man tomorrow. They're flying out.
Yeah, one could be in business class, one could be in economy. Depends on the result of the day.
Ends of the plane. Yeah. Just to touch on that Motherwell team as well, Stephen Pearson has made it today. He was 50-50, we heard, with that hamstring injury. That's big news for them, isn't it?
It is, because when I seen Stephen on the counter-attack there, that's what he was great at. I used to bring him at Celtic now and then, and he changed games for us. Especially one game at Hearts, we're 2-0 down one day, brought Stephen on, and he did exactly what you've seen there. Win the ball, counter-attacking. That's what he's very good at. I wondered as he got older, would he have to change his style? But he seems to have still enough in his engine to keep doing that. I've got 2 other ex-players I play with. Steve McManus, a wonderful man, wonderful captain for me, and Scott McDonald. And if you look at my face now, all these wrinkles actually come from Scott McDonald.
Tough to coach, I think you could say. Tough to coach. Right, Rangers obviously need goals today, but they also must not concede, and that means that Cammy Bell, their goalkeeper, might have to have a really big game. He's been reflecting back on the first leg at Ibrox with Mark Guidi.
We know it's still going to be a huge task to turn over 3-1, but we'll be there fighting right to the end.
It's Ainsworth! 3 for Motherwell, lethal!
We need to defend better first and foremost, and we can't afford to concede at Motherwell.
Rangers pull one back!
It was a huge lift from the fans and give us a lifeline, really.
I think in any way you guys underestimated Motherwell.
I don't think we underestimated them, I just think we underperformed, to be honest. They got the game plan right, as I said before. I think they hit us on the break, and they've got some good attacking players to do that. And defensively they were solid as well.
Do you feel you can get the 2 goals?
I think the first goal is vital, and the timing of the goal as well. If we give ourselves enough time to get the second, I think you can build momentum on that, and hopefully we can do that. And if it's extra times needed, then that's fine by us, and we are willing to go all the way.
What would it do to Rangers if it meant another year in the Championship?
I mean, it would be really tough. It's something we hadn't set out to do at the start of the season. We obviously looked to get promoted, whether it was through automatic promotion, winning the league, which didn't happen, and then we put ourselves in the position of the playoffs, and they went well so far until the other night. It was a disappointing result, but you get a second chance in the playoffs, that's one good thing. I didn't set myself out to come and play in the Championship for 2 years. And I take blame for that as well. I mean, I've been part of the squad that we've maybe not made it.
This will be your 6th game in the playoff. Is it now looking like a game too far?
It's physically demanding, but it's not a tie too far. We can't use tiredness is an excuse. We're going to have no excuses at the end of the game. The only excuse will be is we've not been good enough. All the boys are giving it everything they have. They've done that the other night. It just wasn't to be. And as I say, all we can do is stand up and be counted for. And when that whistle comes at the end, it's Rangers players celebrating.
Regardless of the outcome of this game, is Stuart McCall the right man to manage Rangers next season?
Yeah, for me he is. He's been great since he's come in. He's brought a real freshness. It's been really difficult for him. I mean, when you've got so many players out of contract, to keep them all going, to keep everyone focused, the pressure that's on us, it is a tough job for him at the moment. And obviously he's inherited all these players, so they're not his own players either. So, but he's brought a great freshness in. He's got us organised, and we're trying to play good football, although we didn't play it the other night. As I said on Sunday, the main thing is the result at the end of the day, so hopefully it's us that's celebrating at the end of the game.
You don't really hear a lot from Cammy Bell. He seems to keep his head down, but Davey, he could be a really big player for Rangers today.
I think he has. I think they've missed him this season. You know, he's missed a lot of football this season, and you know, we all know Rangers need to score today. It's, you know, everybody's been speaking about that, but if he can keep a clean sheet at the other end, that goes a long way to Rangers being successful as well.
Is it a balancing act, do you think, for Stuart McCall today, Gary? Because clearly they need to go forward, but they need to defend better than they did at Ibrox as well.
They've got to show adventure going forward. They've got to try and get back in the game. But as you say, you know, there'll be times in the wing-back areas where they've got to be brave. But there's going to be periods in the game when Motherwell get on top, and that's important that back three becomes a back five and they defend in the numbers.
And Stuart McCall, he's made some big calls today, hasn't he? Chris Boyd is in there, Shane Ferguson's in for his first start, and Rangers just on their way out to warm up. But big calls made by McCall, you'd expect that.
Well, he can do that, and the higher you go up the level, the bigger the club is, the more scrutiny comes on your decisions. And I'm afraid that people will talk about coach and all the rest of it, about management, but management's all about recruitment, getting the best players beside you and making big decisions. And your career will be decided on, do you make good recruitment calls and big decision calls. So it's a big day for Rangers, Stuart, and any player that wants to play. Everybody that plays for Rangers today, or Motherwell, have to decide today this is their best game ever. They've got to go out there thinking, I'm going to play the game of my life. If everybody thinks like that, then we're going to have a
He's made those big calls, very big calls indeed. OK, lots more still to come from us today, including we'll hear from both of the managers. I'm sure the fans will be anxious, the managers will too. They were dancing, the Motherwell fans at Ibrox. Will they be celebrating again today? We'll find out soon. Welcome back to Fir Park. Today at 3:30 p.m. on BT Sport 2, let me tell you, it's football stories with the Ox in our new BT Sport farm with the Supporters Club. Arsenal's Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain reflects on his personal journey in a powerful documentary exploring the positive impact of football on youngsters. Now though, on BT Sport 1, it's the second leg of the Premiership playoff final. Motherwell lead Rangers by 3-1 on aggregate. Kick-off at Fir Park is under half an hour away. Let's recap the team news then, the headlines. For Motherwell, it is the same team that started at Ibrox and won 3-1 midweek. So Stephen Pearson has made it. He was a doubt with a hamstring injury. And Stevie Hamill is back into past fit despite coming off at Ibrox in the second half. For Rangers, 3 changes. In comes the captain, Lee McCulloch, and we think he will play in a back 3. Shane Ferguson makes his first start for Rangers. What an occasion to make your first start. And Chris Boyd is selected up front with Kenny Miller. It's his first start for the club since the middle of March. Motherwell are in the driving seat here, and yesterday ahead of the big game, Stephen Craigan went back to his old club to assess the mood.
So how's ticket sales been?
Oh, ticket sales have been really, really good, especially after Thursday's results.
And there's a little added extra to it, Stuart McCall coming back to the club.
Yes, bittersweet actually. Nice to see him, but in a different circumstance.
I know Stuart was here for 4 years. You were fond of Stuart?
Oh, I loved him. Love Stuart. He always had 2 sweeteners and just milk, either tea or coffee.
So if he comes in tomorrow, will it be salt and milk?
Never.
Never?
No, I couldn't. No. Could not do that to Stuart.
He's on the other side.
I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care.
Al, how are you? You okay?
Right, Craig, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
I know you're one of the most pessimistic Motherwell supporters has ever been. But Thursday night must have given you a little bit of encouragement for tomorrow.
It certainly does, but the whole second half, Craigs, are spent in the dressing room. That's how pessimistic I am.
Sunday's a big occasion, isn't it, for the club in general?
Massive. Biggest game probably we've had since I've been here, 15 years, definitely.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm well, yeah.
How's that old body getting up those stairs? Body's Your first win at Ibrox as a player. I don't think it's something I certainly didn't manage, so was it worth the wait?
I know we've tried a few times, yeah. Craigs. I mean, no, look, it was first time for I'm sure a lot of the fans there as well. Maybe some of the younger fans to have seen us win there. You know, if it was a one-leg game, yeah, we'd be taking the pats in the back, but we know there's still a lot of football to be played. And I think you've seen that by our reaction at the end. You know, there certainly wasn't any celebrating or anything like that coming up the tunnel or in the dressing room, because, as I said before, we know it's half time in the tie.
Thursday's gone for us. Thursday's gone. I think you need to go into the game as another game where you're starting. It's like a cup final, and that's the way we're trying to look at it. It's probably the biggest game that your career, that means something to a lot of people.
There's a few Motherwell and Rangers connections over the past 2 or 3 seasons with Mickey Law, Kenny Black, and of course Stuart McCall. Does that have any bearings in the game?
No, I don't think so, to be honest. I've hardly spoke to them, to be honest, even round about the game at Ibrox, and I'm sure before the game on Sunday, I don't think there'll be much communication, to be honest.
The success that he brought for this football club was tremendous, and such a shoestring budget. But he's, as a man, he's very good. You know, I think you can see, if we speak to Gordon Strachan, for example, Matt McGee, who worked with him at the international setup, they would say the same thing. Anybody that works with him, you really get to know how he is as a man, first and foremost, and I've certainly got nothing but high praise for him.
Is it important to treat tomorrow's game as a standalone game?
I think so. I think that's the key for us. I think if we start getting carried away thinking, you know, we've got something to protect, I think that's a dangerous mindset to go into any game with, to be honest. I think our home form's been good at Fir Park recently. As I said before, we know the Rangers will be coming here. That mindset is Stuart, I'm sure, drilled into them. But if they get the first goal in the ascendancy, they can win the match. But from their point of view, certainly it's something we can use that home form and that confidence that we've had here into Sunday's match and take it from there.
Well, I'll not keep you much longer. I'll let you get back to keeping Motherwell in the Scottish Premiership. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, Craigs. Thank you.
Well, Stephen Pearson is starting today still, we believe, but he has had a hamstring problem. He was rated 50-50 for this game, and he's away in early, it looks like, here from the warm-up. Maybe for more treatment, maybe for a chat with someone. He's a big doubt for the game, you'd have to say at the moment, judging by that, because all the rest of his teammates are staying out to complete their warm-ups. That would be a big blow, wouldn't it? Stephen Craigan's joined us around the desk. Gary McAllister's away up for commentary duty. Stephen, that'd be a huge thing to have to change at this point, wouldn't it?
Well, I spoke to Stephen Robinson, who's the assistant manager. I spoke to him about an hour ago, and he said he feels possibly that Stephen is letting his head rule his heart, or his heart rule his head, whatever it is. Anyway, yeah. He thinks he may not be fit. You know, yesterday he was struggling to walk and he had aches and pains in his hamstring. That doesn't disappear in 24 hours. But the way Motherwell want to play, you know, the energy they want to have in the team, it'd be a huge loss for them. But I suppose the positive thing is, you know, they're leading the game. They don't need to go chasing the game. So, you know, maybe bringing a defensive player in.
This is live in the dressing room, Gordon. You know him very well, don't you, Stephen Pearson? He will be desperate to play in a game like this. But if there's a doubt in your mind, what's the best thing to do here, decision-wise?
Stop it now. Get players on there that are fit, because in saying that, you know, I don't think anybody can play with a hamstring. It's not going to get better, as Stephen said, but his big asset is running. Yeah. Now, he'll be worried about that all the time. He'll be worried about going into tackles, be worried about this, and then you're a man down. It's like having a man down. You might as well say, the man, again, big decisions with managers. Yeah. Now, you know, we're talking about big decisions. Stephen, you're not playing, that's it. Somebody else on, bang, that's it. So the team know now that they've got to have 11 fit players on there, rather than you look about and you think, is Stephen all right? I might have to cover for him. I might run forward the other midfield partner because Stephen can't handle it. You might as well say, no, done, finished, get yourself in.
No decision has been made yet, I have to tell you. We'll bring you the latest news on that as soon as we hear it. Mark Guidi's down in the tunnel right now outside that dressing room trying to find out more information. Let's get back to your old team though, because you went back to see them all yesterday. They were all talking about Stuart McCall. How are the emotions around here? Your old teammates as well, who of course worked with Stuart for so long. Everyone looks at the manager, but it must be difficult for the players as well.
Well, there was a common trend that everybody you spoke to, whether it was a member of staff or a player, that everybody, you know, holds Stuart in high regard. Everybody fully respects him. He's probably the most successful manager the club's had in the recent history, Darryl. 2 second second places in a row. So, but the players understand it's a professional job they have to do. It was actually a strange atmosphere around the club yesterday, because I'm not too sure there was too many people thought that Motherwell would win by 2 goals at Ibrox on Thursday night. I think most Motherwell fans thought Motherwell would come back here having to chase the game, being a goal behind, whether they were believing the press, believing the pundits, reading the newspapers, but the headlines were all towards Rangers winning. So it's a strange kind of mindset Motherwell, are in at the minute.
Davey, Stuart McCall, everyone says maybe he needs to get Rangers up to get the job. That is hardly an easy mandate if that's the case.
No, I think Stuart's done great since he's came in. I think he's lost 3 games in his period here, and he's came in, he's had to get them challenging, as you always have to do when you're at a big club like this, and it's all about results. So he's come in, he's done a great job, but ultimately he knows, and everybody knows it works at any of those clubs, you're judged on success, and success for Rangers is getting up.
It is indeed. Let me tell you, Stephen Pearson will start this game. That's what we're hearing. Let's hear from his manager now, Ian Barraclough, who's with Mark.
Ian, Pearson and Hamill have both made it, so it's the same starting lineup from midweek.
It is, yeah. Pleased that we can name that. It was a good performance, as we know, and just want to try and finish the job.
You're 3-1 up. What's the game plan today?
Well, we can't sit back. We know that. We're at home. We've scored goals. We're a threat when we're in possession, but we've got to be resolute out of possession, concentrated. We know they'll throw everything at us, whatever formation or personnel they go and choose, and we've got to be ready for every eventuality. Yeah.
Do you think it could be an early onslaught from Rangers?
I would think so. We expect it to be. They'll have to come and score. We know that. So whether they choose to do it right from the off or feel their way into it, but they'll know that we're a threat as well.
From your players, is it a day to have big hearts and strong minds?
Do you know, it's a day to enjoy themselves, because these occasions, these crowds, they don't come along every day. Now, prefer not to be in a playoff, but it's a big game, and we can build on what we did the other night. So I want them to go and enjoy themselves, and then they'll produce the best.
Are the guys confident?
They are, yeah. It's been a measured few days since the Thursday. Everyone concentrated. No one, again, getting above the stations. We know there's a lot of hard work ahead of us.
You said before that nobody really wanted you to go up. Everybody would prefer Rangers to go up. Do you stick by that?
I still think that's very much the case. Yeah, I think so. I think everyone's saying that Rangers would need to be in the Premier League for it to be a great Scottish league. Well, I'm obviously going to disagree with that.
Best of luck today, Ian. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
He's got a big smile on his face, and he was smiling at Ibrox, of course. That was the man of the match. Lionel Ainsworth had a great game. And Stephen, overall, Rangers just couldn't deal with the counter-attack and the pace, could they?
No, it was something that Motherwell had worked on for 10 days, Darryl. It wasn't just by luck that Motherwell suddenly had players in the right areas. They were trying to show Rangers in the middle of the pitch. They were trying to win the ball, because they knew that Ainsworth on the right-hand side, they had Johnson on the left-hand side, they had Stephen Pearson, who I've already touched on, but Scott McDonald and Lee Irwin as well. When they won the ball, their first thought was to get forward. Of course, it wasn't every time they won the ball, but when Lee Wallace came forward and Richie Foster came forward, there was obviously areas to play in, and I think that's why Stuart may go with a back 3. Because when you leave your 2 centre halves, as we see here, they can get exposed. If your full-backs go forward, there's huge gaps in the wide areas. So by playing 3 central defenders, they can fill it slightly better.
It was impressive stuff, Gordon, wasn't it?
Well, if you watch it there, I say that the counter-attack, but there's always 4 attack. They might set off with 5 thinking about it, there's always 4. There's always 2 going, right, OK, you 4 get on with it. If Rangers do win the ball back, we've not got a problem. And then allowing they 4 to get on with it with an individual ability and pace to go and do something.
Tactically, you'd expect more of the same from Motherwell, would you as well, Davey?
I think so. Well, it obviously worked well for them on Thursday, and I think at Ibrox maybe the crowd are willing Rangers forward, and the fullbacks are, want to score a goal, want to be involved in goals, and they exploit the gaps that were there. But it's a different game today, but I'm sure the Motherwell's game plan will be much the same.
OK, we're edging closer to kick-off. Motherwell's game to lose, it's in their hands, isn't it? They've had a season of ups and downs, but their supporters have kept on following them, backing them all the way, and that drum, it just never stopped beating.
There remains a steely determination amongst the Motherwell supporters.
We're at Fir Park today to bring the curtain down in the Scottish football season. We're finishing with a massive match, Motherwell against Rangers in the playoff final. The Gers and their fans are dreaming of a comeback.
We can do this today, we'll turn that around. 3-0, Chris Boyd's the man, here we go.
Keep believing, boys, we'll get there.
Nothing is impossible.
We're going to do this, we're going to go up.
Come on, the Rangers! Nothing is impossible, we can do this. Come on, the Rangers!
I believe that we will win.
They still believe under Stuart McCall, Rangers have been given a new lease of life. Let's check in with the Rangers manager ahead of the game now. Who's with Mark?
Stuart, 3 changes from midweek. McCulloch, Ferguson and Boyd all in.
Yes, that's right, yeah. I mean, obviously, we look back at the game. I think the first third of the game we had comfortable possession, Forsyth keep a couple of saves. They then get a slightly fortunate goal on their part with a deflection, but then for the middle part of the game they were excellent, counter-attacked as well and were a threat. And I think in the back end of the game we came back into it as well. So we know we need to score a couple of goals at least, and that's what we're aiming to do.
I suppose 3-1 down, there's no dilemma for you, you've got to go for it.
Yeah, we've got to be careful that it's not all guns blazing right at the beginning of the game, but we've got goal scorers on the park. We need to put them under more pressure. For all the possession we had the other night, early on in the game, we didn't create that much. But I mean, I think the keepers had 4 or 5 excellent saves throughout the 90 minutes, and that's what we've got to do again. We've just got to force a goal and make saves.
I've been speculating if it's a back 4 or a back 3 today. Is it fair to say probably a back 3?
I hope that it's not a back 5. If it is a back 3, hopefully we get further on. But listen, we'll just go and play with a bit of... All we ask them to do is go play with desire. At this stage, we're out of the tie. So we just need courage. We need guts. We need a little bit of luck, as always. And we need big performances and better performances than we got the other day.
Can you pull it off?
Well, of course we can, yeah. We've got to believe. I believe we can win the game. Whether we can win it enough, we'll see. But everyone will talk about that all-important first goal. It'll be interesting if we manage to get it.
Best of luck, Stuart. Thanks.
Cheers, thank you.
So it certainly sounds like a back 3. If that's the case, Shane Ferguson will no doubt be the left wing back. Stephen, you know him very well. You've worked with him, Northern Ireland set-up. What will he bring to the team?
Well, he brings energy. You know, if you look at the Rangers side the other night, Darryl, at times they lacked a little bit of pace. You know, particularly in the wide areas, to really go and hurt Motherwell. You know, we spoke about Marvin Johnson and Lionel Ainsworth. Pace in the modern game is key. Shane Ferguson will bring that. You know, he wants to take men on. He's great in tempo when he's in possession. My only slight concern is he hasn't played a lot of football. He's been out for the last 3 or 4 months with an ankle injury. Come into a game of this magnitude and have the fitness levels for 90 minutes. So you might get 60 out of him, but what you'll get is an energetic performance and somebody who's really keen to impress.
It's his first start for Rangers. Chris Boyd hasn't started a game for Rangers since the middle of March. It's a huge call to put him back into the game. He's not had his best season. He said that himself, Davey, but is he still the man to produce on an occasion like this?
Chris is a goal scorer and Rangers need goals. I think even in the brief appearance he made on Thursday, it was a close call with offside goal that he finished. He had a great header and a great save, so there's 2 chances straight away. So I think that's the answer to your question. Rangers need to score and Chris Boyd scores goals.
Gordon, you know him very well too. Yeah. Will he love this kind of atmosphere, this kind of game?
He loves football, you know. Forget what you hear about overweight and all the rest of it. I've got to say that I really enjoyed it. It didn't work for us at Middlesbrough for him and myself, but I've got to say I enjoyed his come, and he trained hard. And you know, for all the players that had it at Middlesbrough, he was the one guy who used to speak about football all the time. He loves football. I like him as a guy. Goal scorer, he's a goal scorer, but he needs goal scoring chances. You know, the ball has to go in the box. If there's a chance to put the ball in the box today for Rangers, don't overplay, put it in the box, and he will do something.
And he got a big chance the other night, and Motherwell made chances. Lee Irwin, of course, is the man that leads the line for them. He's been immense for the Steel men in the run-in, hasn't he?
Well, he's been vital since he came into the side, Dal. You know, he causes problems. He's a willing runner, and he asks defenders questions. You know, he's constantly on your shoulder. He's constantly wanting to stretch the game. And the way Motherwell want to play, and you know, it may be counter-attacking, it may not be, but you need someone at the top end of the pitch who's willing to stretch it, who's willing to run in behind. But don't you think he's one-dimensional. Ball in amongst his feet, he can move it well. You know, defenders dive in, he can move the ball, he can chop it, he can get shots off. You know, we've always said that maybe adding goals has been a concern for him. He's done that over the last 6-7 weeks, and he's grew in confidence.
Gordon, is it fair to say there's a few managers in Scotland and elsewhere now keeping an eye on this man? He's out of contract at the end of the year.
Well, I think it's no me to try and sell it to anybody else. I think he's doing a fantastic job here. You're not going to believe this. It reminds me of a young Mark McGee, well, about 6 stone lighter Mark McGee.
Who's
as
here
a kid,
today?
who could run in behind, take people on, do things. Later on in his career, Mark got more consistent with the passing and things like that. And I think young Irwin has to add that to his game. But he's got the things that he can't teach people: how to beat people, how to run behind, hunger. He's got all that. If he adds the rest to it, then you've got a top player.
Yep, he is the danger man, and we are getting close to kick-off here. It's an absolutely massive match at Fir Park, highly anticipated. It's the playoff final, and it's live here on BT Sport next. Welcome back to Fir Park. We're almost set to go for the Premiership playoff final, second leg. Motherwell lead by 3-1 over Rangers on aggregate. Away goals do not count. You can just feel the nerves around here. Stephen, how are yours?
No, I'm fine, Darryl. You know, I think with regards to Motherwell, winning at Ibrox on Thursday will have given the players huge belief. You know, there's a lot of negativity leading into the game. Could they beat Rangers? Would they be able to match Rangers? Now they've beaten them, the Motherwell players will be full of belief. They'll be desperate for the first whistle to go and replicate what they've done on Thursday night.
Stuart McCall there just peeking at the dressing room saying, well, they're not there, we're not coming yet either. All the mind games going on, but this is going to be good, isn't it, Davey?
As you were just talking there, you can sense the atmosphere. It's a proper game of football. There's a lot at stake, and you know, really looking forward to it. It's exciting.
These are the kind of games we love. Good way to finish a season.
Even us coming today, and then when you get in here, it's quiet. Then the crowd start coming in, the noise starts building up, the flags are going. There's an edge to today's game that, for everybody here today, it's got to be a big game. And I said to you, we don't know. We surmise we know the heroes are got to be. No, we don't. It's up to them to decide. These players individually, am I going to be a hero of the day, or I'm going to let anybody down? That's for sure.
And if Rangers score first, Davey, things will change dramatically.
I think so. I think it's important that Rangers do score first. I don't think they have to score in the first 5 minutes, the first 15 minutes. I think, you know, maybe even not conceding a goal is just as important. They go into the second half and score even in the second half, then it's game on. So it's a long day.
Keith Lasler there leading the line. You know him so well, Stephen. What will be going through his head? Is he quite a quiet guy ahead of a match?
Well, he's a quieter captain, you know, he's not somebody who rants and raves and shouts and screams. He tries to lead by example on the pitch, and on Thursday night he done that. He was very disciplined in his role, he makes tackles, he breaks play up, so he's a catalyst for Motherwell as well. If he does his job well, he gives a front four a chance to go and attack.
There's the Rangers captain Lee McCulloch leading his team out. Could this be his last game for the club? Ex-Steelman as well, of course. Right, over to our match commentators for this massive encounter, Gary McAllister and Derek Ray.
Thanks very much, Darryl. Good afternoon, everyone. The curtain soon to drop down on the Scottish club season, but there remains the potential for a gripping finale. Motherwell stormed the Ibrox Citadel on Thursday. Now they must guard the ramparts of their own fortress. Rangers have no option but to come out firing. A place of next season's Premiership at stake. Who will reach out and grab it? Motherwell are unchanged, so they've taken a slight gamble on Stephen Pearson, who had to be replaced due to an injury in the first leg. Stevie Hamill has been declared fit too. Top scorer John Sutton is once again a substitute. Anthony Straker is absent for family reasons. Rangers make 3 switches from Thursday night, one of them enforced. Darren McGregor is suspended, so Lee McCulloch comes in. Shane Ferguson wins his first start for the club, and Chris Boyd plays from the outset for the first time in more than 2 months. Nicky Clark and Dean Shields drop to the bench.
I'm not surprised to see the same personnel. Mullers keep the same shape as well, 4-4-1-1. They must try and get the ball forward into the wide areas of Johnson and Ainsworth, who caused Rangers loads of problems, and also into the feet of McDonald and service the young striker Irwin. Rangers, they go in search of goals. They need to be brave. They need to be brave in the wing-back areas through Foster and Ferguson, and then get the ball to Law, Vucic, Boyd and Miller.
Kenny Black, who was in charge of Motherwell after Stuart McCall departed. This used to be home for the pair of them. Ian Batterclough, man at the Motherwell helm now, richly praised. After Thursday, he's decided to field Stephen Pearson from the very start. He'll give it a go. Chris Boyd back in the Rangers starting lineup. It's a sun-kissed afternoon, it's breezy. Fasten your seatbelts.
Well, it's classic, it's a classic game, great crowd. I think the conditions might play a part, it's very blistery out there. But who's going to be the heroes, that's the big question.
The playoffs have produced twists and turns aplenty. One more day of high drama. Which one of these two sides will be playing Premiership football come the start of August? Rangers attacking the goal to our left in the first half. Chris Boyd almost immediately winning the free kick. It's gone against Lewis Lang. Rangers need their performance of the season. George Long was inspirational for Motherwell in Govan. He's getting the wall sorted out. There's an extra player in there. Mickey Law, former Steelman. Once again up against his younger brother Josh. Chris Boyd hovering just behind. Quite go to plan.
Oh, Keith Lasley was quick to block. Maybe just encroaching a little. Chris Boyd went for power.
Lee Wallace. Chance for taking it. Trying to win it in the air. Ferguson. Stevie Hamill, who dealt with it initially. Marvin Johnson. And a chase back for Richard Foster. Decides to give Cammy Bell a touch.
Both teams just getting a feel of the ball. Just looks like a back four to me, Derek. Lee Wallace is getting himself up the pitch in this left back area.
It was one of the talking points, Gary, before a ball was kicked. Would it be 3 at the back? Would it be 4? For Rangers, flexibility within their ranks.
To me at the moment, it's as if Shane Ferguson just playing in front of Lee Wallace, just as a left-sided midfielder, and Lee just in his normal left-back position.
Lee McCulloch, again Cammy Bell, the Rangers supporters just behind him. With an allocation of 1,500 by Motherwell. Steelmen had 950 of their fans at Ibrox. Shane Ferguson. Rangers plenty of energy as a substitute the other night. Boyd's header. Long was there for Motherwell.
Well, this is, I think, what Rangers will go for early in the game, getting it in the box, trying to get the ball to Boyd and Miller. Not necessarily going through the middle of the pitch. Get it forward nice and quick.
Lee Irwin leading the line for Motherwell. Ian Barraclough taking nothing for granted. Motherwell, advantageous position after the first leg, but a lot of digging still to do.
Yeah, but they must guard against. They mustn't sit back and try and protect the lead. Maybe allow Rangers possession. They must look to counter as well as they did at Ibrox.
Motherwell unbeaten in 7 matches at home. Each of the last 9 Fir Park results, if achieved today, would be good enough to keep them up. Shaniukas, Lithuanian, once again starting for Rangers. There is Josh Law, occupying the right-back position. It's been the case for a couple of months now. Forward by Shaniukas, intended for Boyd. His old mate Stephen McManus who got there first. So siding here, it's gone Rangers' way. Back to a year ago, Gary, you and I were at Easter Road. Hibs with a 2-goal margin of victory in the first leg of the playoff final against Hamilton. Most people thought it was going to be a breeze for Hibernian.
We could never have called that day, Eric, just on the way it unfolded.
There's Lang's clearance. Lee Wallace trying to wind himself up. He's got a bit of room to work with there. Space just in front of the Phil O'Donnell stand. It's bulleted away by McManus, one of the Motherwell goal scorers on Thursday. Wallace will try again.
Using that little gap to his advantage.
Flick on was effective. Motherwell trying to clear their lines. It was Hamill put to work. Rangers on the front foot in the first few minutes.
And this was a nervy moment. This is bouncing inside that 6-yard box. Stevie Hamill does ever so well just to hook it over his shoulder. It's Rangers that have taken the initiative. They've started well again.
Stevie Hamill was out from January until May because of the groin injury. It's always his goal to be back for the last few significant matches. Twisting and shouting, the Motherwell supporters. Did plenty of that at Ibrox. And so the Motherwell boys in that corner of the East Stand have done much to enliven the proceedings at Fir Park this season. They played their part off the pitch as well. Helped out at a food bank in the area recently, part of the community.
Now they're a really good bunch. They make a lot of noise, and they'll be needed today.
Michael Ainsworth getting tightly on to Lee Wallace. Lewis Lang and Boyd. Well, the chance was there for Chris Boyd.
I just thought this was a little bit tentative. Lewis Lang just missing the flight of the ball. It's there to be volleyed. Just a tentative prod, really. An informed Boyd. They're going to cross the keeper there.
Lee McCulloch. Hannes Vucic. Here's Kenny Miller. As Boyd's made the run into the middle. That was by Hamill. Foster. Keith Lasley throwing himself at the ball. Hamill forwards. Lee Owen trying to steal a march on Lee McCulloch. Thompson, the referee, thought about it for a second or two. He's penalised Hamill.
Just goes with his forearm here. Just goes across the back of Miller.
Gianniukas moving a bit gingerly.
As if it could be his right ankle.
There's the Slovenian Hannes Vucic and George Long. Meat and drink.
Seemed to carry in the wind there, Derek. We're just trying to work out which way the wind is blowing, but I think it's more of a swirly sort of wind.
Long, not sure if he was looking for wind assistance. It's drifted out of play. Just another thought, Gary, on the shapes of the two teams.
That's most definitely a back four. Lee Wallace, we thought, might just be playing left centre-back, but he's in a back four. You'll see him get up the pitch, he'll get beyond Shane Ferguson, so over the 4-4-2 for Rangers.
Ainsworth took the knock as Wallace walks away.
That's more than late. A good couple of seconds go past there.
Just a wild rebuke for Lee Wallace. Michael Ainsworth, Motherwell's flying machine, following in the footsteps of Chris Humphrey, who played for the Steelmen.
Yeah, on this right side, I've got to say, he was excellent at Ibrox on Thursday.
That foot of George Long, and the head of Richard Foster. Johnson, one of the attacking weapons for Motherwell. Gianniukas just got away with it.
Looked a bit shaky on his feet there.
Over the head of Vucic, here's Kenny Miller. Quite full for him. Stephen McManus into the East Stand.
Exactly what Motherwell did in the opening stages at Ibrox. They just sat off the ball, allowing Rangers possession. Just sort of saying, shows what you've got.
Continuing to keep an eye on Stephen Pearson. Didn't look good for him in the warm-up, I must say. Going through the pain barrier, that tight hamstring. There he is on the ball now, Pearson. Josh Law. Janukas. Keeping a weather eye on Irwin. Josh Law throw. Bringing the ball under control. Janukas again for Rangers. 10 minutes have elapsed. 0-0 in the second leg. 3-1 to Motherwell on aggregate. Ainsworth. Josh Law. It comes on. Newcastle collapses in a heap. Corner to Motherwell.
He's on the wars in this opening 10 minutes. Nice little phase of play from Motherwell, keeping possession, trying to work the cross. Takes it right in the chest, midriff.
Ainsworth is about to take it. He's going to let Johnson do the honours. McManus, one of the obvious aerial targets. But he's capable of at set pieces. And Johnson, it takes off.
With that opening at that end of the ground, that just gathered in the wind. And Johnson wanted to move the ball there, rather than take it directly.
Ian Barraclough, great success as a manager in the Republic of Ireland with Sligo Rovers. 2.5 years at the showgrounds. Lasley, scored it back towards Pearson. Josh Law. Scott McDonald in pursuit. It's a subtle performance by the Aussie on Thursday. Linked the play pretty effectively, playing just off Irwin.
I also thought when Motherwell were out of possession, I thought he did a good job just dropping back in to help his midfield, which you see him doing right now.
Lang was opposing Boyd. From the Rangers' point of view, I suppose they've got to be thinking about 2 goals in 90 minutes while not conceding. Forcing the tie into extra time. It's doable. Lasley, the offender here.
Yeah, there's no need here. Sean Ferguson's going nowhere, and this just gives Rangers an opportunity to put another ball into the box. You know, it's late. It's rash.
We're in the 13th minute. It was this juncture last season. Hamilton took the lead against Hibs. In it comes, and Janukas making Long think about that. Corner is the outcome.
Yeah, Long taking no chances. A super ball in. Mickey Law, Zalukas wins it. Just taking no chances. It wasn't the cleanest of headers.
Shane Ferguson. First Rangers start. To make an impact off the bench on Thursday. Ferguson, McCulloch at the far post. They couldn't win it. Lang making sure of that.
It's the little chat between Ferguson and McCulloch. He's making his run round the back.
Wheels away. To make us move again as Mickey Law delivers off Boyd's head. He didn't see it that way. Goal kick this time.
It's another decent ball in. This boy just goes up a little bit too early. Just mistimes it. He's on his way down as he catches it in the head.
The Motherwell supporters generating plenty of noise. It's not lost on them. Significance of this occasion. We're trying to make it 31 successive years in the top flight of Scottish football. So much emphasis on the first goal today. It was 3-0 to Motherwell. In the first match, they had the chance to make it 4. Opportunity squandered by Lionel Ainsworth. Darren McGregor reducing the arrears. Pearson still trying to make it happen out there. Still quite a bit of head shaking.
Quite can tell. He seems to be moving okay, Pearson.
Wallace back the way to McCulloch. Former Motherwell player, Lee McCulloch. Foster looking for an outlet, finding one. Too strong for Miller and Ferguson.
Yeah, that was good pressure. Can Foster go long? He just overhit his through ball.
George Long, the 21-year-old, from Sheffield United. Ian Barraclough really believes in the youngster. Lucas fighting it out with Irwin, just over the head of Vučkić. Now Hamill forward for Motherwell. McCulloch. Irwin trying to pick his pockets. Foster. Johnson got the touch, applying the pressure. Marvin Johnson.
Motherwell just starting to move up the pitch a little. And pressing's just becoming a little bit higher.
Flicked on by Boyd. Miller coming into the move now. Vučkić. Ferguson was available to his left. Lang drawn out of position. Here's Miller. Slipping it through to Foster. Now back wet. Marvin Johnson. Pitching in defensively for the Steelmen. Now Irwin didn't quite get there. Lucas and Cammy Bell. Andy Murdoch once again in that central midfield position for Rangers. The young player of the year, McManus. There's Boyd with his back to goal. Continuing. Was in the vicinity. Hamill with Miller. One is getting turned around. It's gone Motherwell's way.
Yeah, Hamill was turned around, but he was turned around by Kenny Miller's arms. Drags him back. Very clearly a foul.
Rangers going with experience in attack. Miller and Boyd, that tandem. Long. Lee Irwin, things going for Motherwell in the first leg. Deflected shot, it came off Darren McGregor. I think Cammy Bell could do. Until that point, Rangers have been the more compelling side. The initial leg, here's Leslie. Johnson trying to work something with Irwin ahead of him. Lucas. Ferguson for Lee Wallace. Stephen Pearson. Well, he wasn't hanging around, he's been penalised. Pearson thought he had won the ball by fair means.
This is, for me, this is a good 50-50. Both players looking to win the ball. He does catch him a little bit high though. His feet are off the ground and he's just shown his stud slightly. This just looked like a good old-fashioned 50-50.
Craig Thompson is the referee. His last match here at Fir Park. So Motherwell thrashed St Mirren 5-0 in April. Stuart McCall, Kenny Black trying to get the message across. There's Lee Wallace with it. Claret and Amber barrier in place. Scott McDonald trying to release Marvin Johnson. Nicky Law's over there. Started every single match for Rangers this season. He was a bit of an injury doubt. There was talk of 3 or 4 Rangers players carrying knocks. Ferguson. Had to go on a mazy run. Ainsworth was following him. Nicky Law with Pearson making his move towards him. Lucas. That's very disappointing from Mariusz Lucas.
No, I don't think that was the pitch either. He was looking at these studs in the pitch. He got it all wrong there.
Rain falling now. It was in the forecast. Very high winds in the weather forecast too today.
Could play a part. That at the top of the show. This was forecast.
So Ferguson up towards Chris Boyd. Pete Lasley. Josh Law. Ferguson. It's an almost frantic style. Vučkić. Murdoch linking up with Nicky Law. Foster. Richard Foster across the face of goal. And Chris Boyd was lurking.
It's good patient build-up by Rangers, really impressive. It's good defending there. It's a great ball in by Foster, just whips it round. Lewis Lang does ever so well. Very much aware. Chris Boyd was lurking. Good defending.
20 minutes into this decisive second leg. McCulloch again, Boyd, he was trying to get involved. Lucas, it's an awkward one for him. Rangers with the possession advantage.
Very similar to the opening at Ibrox. Rangers bossing the ball.
Kenny Miller trying to veer into the centre. It was Foster who popped up.
It just came a little bit fast for him. Kenny Miller trying to drive it into his feet. Just skips up, it's slightly behind him. That was a chance. They had the man over.
7th successive start for Foster. Missed 15 games on the trot prior to that because of a groin injury. Motherwell has scored 13 goals in the last 5 home games. Haven't travelled particularly well in recent months, but their performance at Ibrox gave lie to that. The idea that they don't play well away. Vučkić, Ferguson, Miller and Boyd waiting. Ferguson, goal kick.
Nearly catches Long at the back post. He's obviously trying to whip it into that back post area for the movement of Chris Boyd. It just sat up there. You can see the bobble. Long's got it covered.
The story of the Scottish football season has been a gripping one. You can relive it this Wednesday, 8:30, BT Sport 1, our SPFL season review. This is the final chapter in the story. It will have a happy ending for one side or the other. Ferguson. Down by Lang initially, Law, McDonald, McCulloch. Rangers by and large carrying the game to Motherwell. The Steelmen be happy enough with the 0-0 scoreline. Stuart McCall waving his arms around. A participant.
Very animated in the side.
It's quite a funny moment in the first leg when he went after the ball himself. Lucas tying it away. He's got there ahead of Lee Irwin. He's a passionate type. Stuart McCall, the Motherwell fans will tell you that as well.
That's my brother there, just took 3 guys away from that chap there.
Sure, if he was offering words of wisdom, Guy. Lasley.
Yeah.
Guy, you have deep roots in this community.
Yeah, they're all very nervous the last couple of nights.
winning promotion, season 1984-85. A fellow by the name of McAllister scored 6 league goals in that campaign. Been a top-flight club ever since.
Such a vintage year.
It's Boyd. Quite work out for him. McManus. Ainsworth trying to get goal side of Wallace. Irwin always eager. It's a bit unorthodox. Can be difficult to contain. Lee Wallace was finding out just then.
Yeah, Irwin was forced wide. He kept good possession. Picks up here. Knows he just has to protect it. The corner will do nicely.
Ainsworth in his second Motherwell season, joined initially on loan from Rotherham, signed permanently last summer. Scott McDonald dragging Richard Foster with him there. Ainsworth, Jean Lucas, just enough to Andy Murdoch. He's trying to get out with Johnson, and the tackle came flying in. Hamill on the ground. Craig Thompson has a bit of sorting out to do. Andy Murdoch was saying his bit, but the card is already out, and it will be shown. The Motherwell supporters really getting stuck in. Andy Murdoch's caution.
Craig Thompson's a real good look at it. Stevie Hamill gets there first. There's no studs showing, but it was a little bit late from the youngster.
Craig Thompson, Scotland's best known official. Wants to have a word with Foster as well. To mention Marvin Johnson, the handshake, and it's a return to battle. Ainsworth to take it. Murdoch and Nicky Law in that Rangers wall. As Lang, who just lost his footing briefly. Lionel Ainsworth, Lee Wallace away. Turned by Irwin. Occupying Wallace again. Rangers throw. Lee Wallace and Irwin defending from the front.
Irwin did well there. Chasing back the pitch. Putting the pressure on Wallace, just leans on him. Free kick given. No, it's not. Throw in.
Lee Wallace takes it. Chris Boyd. Lewis Lang on the footsteps of Kenny Miller. Ferguson back to Miller. Now Boyd comes into the move. Motherwell defending as a unit. Shane Ferguson. Off Josh Law. Didn't really see too many Law versus Law confrontations in the first match, and it's been a similar story in this return leg so far. Lee Wallace with it. And just trying to threaten. Pearson was defending. Nicky Law took aim. Lasley sweeps up, Nicky Law again. On to outrun Stevie Hamill. Still Law. Motherwell have bodies in place, starting with the captain, Lasley.
Nicky Law does ever so well here. Reacts here. Steals possession. It's good pace here. It's Lasley to the rescue.
And the big men up for this corner, which Ferguson takes. And Boyd was trying to glance that on. Be a Rangers throw. Lee Wallace. Lucas and Boyd. Bit scruffy, Vučkić trying to fire it towards goal, then the foul by McCulloch.
Chris Boyd looking for a little layoff. Oh, Vučkić here, it's messy, and arrives at the talented left footer. He's looking for goal, and then there's the foul.
McCulloch on McManus. And you can feel the tension, can't you? The spray can was dislodged. Back in place now.
Chris Boyd still having a little go at Vučkić for a little layoff there.
"15 minutes to go to half-time. Long. Living up to his name with that clearance. Well, this was earlier, Jan Lucas.
There's a little coming together. There's an elbow towards the head there. If the referee says that, there's only one outcome.
Clearly not spotted. Pearson forward to Owen. McDonald for Ainsworth. Owen on the ground. Play Rangers on. Ainsworth. McDonald couldn't reach it. Behind for the corner and came on Foster.
It's the first real chance for Motherwell. And they break with pace. And it's through Lionel Ainsworth again. This is a wonderful ball across the penalty spot there. Scott McDonald just can't get there. Just puts it in that little corridor there. Foster does well in the right back area.
Marvin Johnson at the controls for Motherwell. Boyd's header. In tennis. Johnson to reverse gear. Hamill. Motherwell 70 minutes in the first leg. I think he knew himself that was all he was able to give. Because of the drawing problem, just coming back from it. McManus. Wallace. Double D clutch. Comes off Ainsworth. Well, the Motherwell players getting a bit worked up earlier. Here's why.
And they should be, Derek. As soon as you do that, the referee's all over it as well. It's literally inches away. Lift your arms up there towards the head. Can only be a red card.
It's fortunate, Jan Lucas, that it went unseen. Oh, now McCulloch caught by at the end of that flag.
McCulloch just goes off the pitch. No, we can't have that. He's trying to flick the ball.
It was painful as far as McCulloch was concerned. I think he's just trying to explain his side of it, that fan in the East stand.
We're having a little debate.
Motherwell get on with the game. Ainsworth cutting in from that left-hand side. Lasley. Marvin Johnson. Owen together with Jan Lucas. Johnson. Lee Owen can do damage from that sort of position. He's not the only one. Well, Owen's own work.
Oh, this is all off this ridiculous back heel by Jan Lucas. Lang does well and he gets it to Irwin. He's somehow managed to get his shot away and it's just wide. Goes right across the goal, heading towards this far post. It's maybe a couple of yards wide, but a great effort.
What to like about Lee Owen. 5 goals in his last 8 matches. Up to no goals in 27. He's learned an awful lot, you know, from Scott McDonald on the training ground.
Yeah, but for a big fella, he's got a real good touch, and he can get himself out of difficult positions.
There's Vučkić up against Stevie Hamill.
Well, there's just been a little series of fouls. Yeah, that boots high. Oh, just stooping to head up clear.
Well, the sun was out just a few minutes ago. Now the rain is back with us. Early summer in the central belt of Scotland. Irwin was with McCulloch that time. A free kick to Motherwell. Well, they're not too happy with that verdict.
Just a little knockdown here. McCulloch with the clearing header. And there's the little challenge on Lasley from Murdoch.
Ainsworth and Johnson absolutely lashing down now. Marvin Johnson, oh, it could easily have gone in. McManus wasn't picked up.
Yeah, and just like at Ibrox, McManus gets away from his marker, Zalukis. It's a free header. Just needed more of a glance.
Just a reminder, our continuing coverage of the Toulon tournament will see the Netherlands take on Qatar. 6 o'clock, BT Sport 2 tonight. Tomorrow, in England's group, Morocco against Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, 4 p.m, BT Sport 1. China against Mexico, also tomorrow, BT Sport 2. Part of the Toulon tournament. So Lucas with the latest foul. It's in on Irwin. There's Josh Law. To flick that one in. And the shrill whistle of Craig Thompson. Notice the empty seats behind that goal away to our right. Rangers supporters in that south stand, 1,500 of them, but not given the full allocation in that particular stand. There's quite the standoff between the two clubs as far as tickets go. Alan Burrows, the general manager of Motherwell, holding the line.
How many did Motherwell get at Ibrox?
Here's Vučkić on the run, trying to skip forward. Free kick there. Well, hang on, it's going to be a yellow card for Vučkić. No free kick for Rangers. A booking for simulation. We've seen that before.
The elegant Vučkić here gets the knockdown and just goes past here. And does he catch him? I think he gets caught there. He just takes it to his left-hand side as McManus comes in. And does he catch him in the foot here? Yes, he does. Just there. It's a slight touch. He wasn't happy.
I think his name taken. We saw that, didn't we, in the semi-final second leg against Hibernian. Another card under similar circumstances for Haris Vučkić. Sunny again in North Lanarkshire. At the moment the sun is shining on Motherwell as they lead 3-1 on aggregate. Still scope for Rangers to get themselves back into it, but it's a big ask. Lee Wallace, read by Lewis Lang. Ricky Law. Just foul on Scott McDonald.
Yeah, a little wrestling match here. McDonald likes this situation. Just backing in, protecting.
Johnson for McDonald. Foster, he wasn't quite sure where to be. Bounce favoured Rangers. Murdoch and Foster. Goal attempts. Rangers on top in that regard. Two of them on target.
There's not been a lot to do for the goalies.
Well, looking more dangerous as this first half has progressed. A reminder that our coverage of the UEFA Under-21 Championship starts on the 17th of June. BT Sport 1, England amongst the participants. Czech Republic, the host nation this year. Lang, covering up for him was Lasley. McCulloch, just showed too much of it to McDonald and then followed through. Lee McCulloch joins the Yellow Card Club.
He's adamant that he doesn't catch him at all. He just overruns the ball a little bit here. Scott McDonald goes to ground. I think Lee McCulloch actually pulls away from the challenge. He actually withdrew his foot.
Lee McCulloch has spent 6 years with Motherwell. Scott McDonald in his second spell with the club. Caution for the captain.
Nicely done.
Stephen McManus. It's Lee Irwin. Just held up in the wind. McDonald received it from Johnson. Scott McDonald. Marvin Johnson! A whisker away.
This was a super strike from Marvin Johnson. It was well locked. Some good little combination play on the edge of the box. He combines with Scott McDonald, then chops it back to him. And he wraps that left foot right round the ball. But he just can't get into that side netting where he was obviously trying to put it. Oh, it's very close.
Yet to score for Motherwell. Johnson, deadline day signing from Kidderminster Harriers of the conference south of the border. Vucic. Hamill and Murdoch and Boyd trying to find it. Kenny Miller and Long had to watch it all the way. It took a deflection. Corner to Rangers.
Action at both ends. Just creating a little bit of an opening here. Kenny just Miller going his left side and wins the corner.
Boyd at the ready. Watched by Pearson. Shane Ferguson to deliver. The left foot of Ferguson. It was missed by a couple of players. And Janiukas leaning back. He knows that was a great chance.
You don't want this to fall to a centre back. Just comes flashing across the 6-yard box. Zaliukas tries to side foot volley. That wasn't a confident attempt. It's Lasley with the flick on. Crashes it over the bar, doesn't keep it down at all.
Margins, margins. Fractions can divide joy from despair. Ferguson. Lang putting Long under pressure. Quick thinking by George Long.
That was good reaction from George Long.
That was around this juncture. Rangers got their opening goal against Hibs in the playoff semi-final. First leg. Nicky Clark goal. Wallace trying to steady himself. McManus usually favourite in the air. It's going to be a couple of additional minutes at the end of this first half. Ferguson for Wallace. Kenny Miller. And he's sticking to his task. Well, the question was asked by a couple of Rangers players, not really by Miller though. Greg Thompson unmoved.
Looks like he's into the feet here of Kenny Miller. It's Lang first and then it's Scott McDonald with this next challenge. He's got to get this spot on. And he just gets enough of the ball.
That was risky play. Wallace with the throw. Irwin. Johnson. Rangers need to get bodies back. Marvin Johnson. Irwin wants it played to him. Johnson. Motherwell will have to settle for a corner.
Really good recovery run from Nicky Law to help his full-back here. Marvin Johnson's, he fancies going past Foster on the outside. It's Nicky Law that gets across and help. Great movement there.
Barraclough preparing for his half-time team talk. Still the 2-goal margin in Motherwell's favour on aggregate. Marvin Johnson. Just stay alive. It's Jan Lucas. Murdoch able to divert it clear. Lasley and Bell clutching it smoothly forward, but that's not a big pull hook. Cammy Bell, confirmation of the 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half, Gary.
It's been a half where the Rangers have sort of bossed the ball. Well, had probably the best chances.
We'll be hearing from Darryl Curry, Gordon Strachan, Davy Weir and Stephen Craigan during the interval. There's a bit of blood on the shirt and shorts of Lee Wallace.
He's been allowed to get to half-time with the blood on the shirt.
McManus, McCulloch, and Chris Boyd. Josh Law scraping it forward. The heading pattern continuing. Vučkić now trying to turn Lewis Lang. Here's Ferguson. In stoppage time at the end of the first half. Vučkić and Boyd. Wrong side of the post.
Vučkić just indicating Richard Foster was behind him. I think that's who he was trying to pick out. Richard Foster right at the back post here. He's just leaning back. Chris Boyd can't get enough on it.
That might very well be that in terms of the first half. It's long forward. Owen to beat Jan Lucas in the air. Chris Boyd. No foul apparently by McManus. Good pass off the pitch, those two. Together at Middlesbrough. Owen. Chris Boyd. Just feeling the pain, I think. It's going to plan for Motherwell. Half-time at Fir Park. In this Premiership playoff final, second leg. Rangers made the early running. Motherwell growing into the match as it has got older. But they continue to lead on aggregate by 3-1.
Welcome back to Fir Park. Playoff action in Scotland, playoff action in Germany tomorrow as well. It's the second leg of Karlsruhe against Hamburg. Hamburg have never been relegated from the Bundesliga. Their future's in the balance after a 1-1 draw in the first leg. It's 0-0 here. Gordon Strachan, Davy Weir and Stephen Craigan around the desk. It's kind of edgy, nervy, and there's been lots of big challenges in that first half. How have you seen it so far, Gordon?
Well, it's there's nothing much tackling to look at. We've got a lot of tackles, so a lot of incidents. And Stephen this Pearson. One, Stephen can be I think himself a bit fortunate not to have at least a yellow card. As the referee says, he's lunged in, he's out of control, and Lee Wallace is lucky he's got his left foot off the ground. If that had been planted to the ground and split second later, that's a bad injury.
His team are 3-1 up. It's not the best challenge to be making with that advantage, is it, Davey?
No, I don't think so, but I think it's a big game and there's loads of endeavour and people want to make a mark. There's not been a lot of quality on the ball, so maybe that's a way showing intent, and you can see how much it means to everybody.
Loads of challenges. Marius Zaliukas was involved shortly afterwards as well, and the referee's right beside him here, Stephen, and does he raise an arm? Does he use his elbow?
He kind of raises his elbow slightly, Darryl, but it's probably more to brush is it Steve McManus or Louis Lang off. That's it, Stephen Pearson again. So I think it's just to get him away. Both sets of players are trying to make an impression in the game, trying to do something, trying to ignite their team and try and get that breakthrough. You see it here in slow motion. Stephen's probably just given a little reminder of the score, and he said, "Is that right? I'm just going to throw one at you." So he's a little bit fortunate because the referee's there. I think in that instance you've got to be careful.
But you've got to be so careful these days.
Well, I think he's right. It's actually when there was a free kick, Stevens went and Stephen Pearson went with Zaluka, and then Foley Zaluka to give him a bit of verbal, and Zaluka just went here just to get him away. He's not meant to hurt him, but he's just meant to get out of the way. Simple as that. And as I say, I think that even the Stevens tackle is worse than that. But the game, it summed the game up that we're actually talking about these things rather than great incidents. Yes, there is any. That'd be lovely. Thank
you.
Look
at some chances. Motherwell had a few, Davy, and Lee Irwin came very close here. Steve McManus as well has been involved, and well, they have been the better of the two teams in terms of the attacking chances, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they have. There's not been a great deal worked. It's been outside the box or wide angle. So it's not been clear-cut chances. But Motherwell have definitely had the better of them.
Lee Irwin, Marvin Johnson, Stephen, there's attacking men involved here.
Yeah, well, you can see Motherwell just desperate to get that goal. We spoke about Lee Irwin at the top of the show about moving inside area and tight areas. He can manipulate the ball, he can get shots away, and he's really unfortunate. He does everything right. Just unfortunate for him it goes wide, but you just felt Motherwell were just pressing and pressing.
Marvin Johnson comes close here, and if one of these goes in, Gordon, it's a very, very different match.
It is. Motherwell for the first half hour, this was all the last 15 minutes of the half, and it's because Motherwell just sat in there and been very brave, because it's not easy at home to go and say, you can have the ball, Rangers, we're leaving the centre halves with the ball, we'll go back the halfway line, if you want to play balls for there, we'll deal with it. And then when it died in a bit, they got forward a bit. So that the plan has worked very well. But Rangers have been sucked into maybe playing too many straight balls forward there. The ones that played diagonally from maybe left centre back to the striker opposite, they seem to cause more problems because it drops short of them, and then they can link up any straight ball. If there's a straight ball from Rangers, the centre halves win it, or it goes through at the goalkeeper.
We wondered how many chances Rangers could fathom here because they need to score goals, and actually it was a centre half. It was Zaliukas, Davy, who probably came the closest for them.
Yeah, he's just got himself free at the back post there, and that's a half decent chance there. And it has been, half chances. It's not been big chances, and maybe as the game opens up, Rangers take chances, then Motherwell will be dangerous on the counter as well.
Stuart said in his pre-match interview that a little bit of luck would help. And there's long throws coming into the box, there's set pieces coming into the box, just looking for the ball to drop to them.
Okay, well, it is 0-0 at half-time, and at the moment it's Ian Barraclough and Motherwell who will be absolutely delighted. Lots of effort, plenty of challenges in that first half. Bit of rain, wind, weather in Scotland as well at the end of May, but it's the Steelmen who are still in control of this playoff, and the second half is coming next. Rangers have just emerged behind me. Let me remind you, at 7 p.m. in BT Sport 1 tonight, massive game in Italy as Napoli take on Lazio, and Lazio are third at the moment, in control of that final Champions League place. But if Rafa Benitez's men win, then they will overtake them on the very final day. Some Rangers fans have been getting in touch asking us, should they have had a penalty in the first half? So let's just clear it up. Stephen, how did you see this? This is Kenny Miller involved with Scott McDonald.
Well, initially when you see Scott McDonald going for it, as a Motherwell fan, I'm sure they panicked a little bit. Does he take Kenny first? I'm not too sure there's anything in that, Dal. Yes, he puts his leg in, but I don't think there's enough to make Kenny go over the way he does.
Does he come through him there at all, Davey, for you, or is it not a penalty?
It's not a penalty for me. I think it's maybe a question. Kenny's asking the question, but in reality, I don't think it's a penalty.
He was certainly asking the question, Gordon, wasn't he?
Yeah, why not? But I don't think it was a penalty.
OK, here we go for the second half. Gary McAllister and Derek Ray.
Thursday night saw Motherwell record their first win over Rangers since Boxing Day 2002. They don't need to win this second leg. 0-0 as things stand, and that will do the Steelmen quite nicely. Rangers have it all to do. Scott McDonald and Stephen Pearson hovering over the ball. It's Motherwell who kick off, attacking the goal to our left. Too many clear-cut goal-scoring chances in the first half. Rangers the stronger side early on. Motherwell getting better as the half progressed. What will be the keys to the second half for you, Guy?
Well, again, Rangers must go in search of goals. They must be brave in the attacking areas. Motherwell just got to guard against just not sitting back.
Stephen McManus trying to keep tabs on Chris Boyd. As I said earlier, they know each other pretty well, those two.
Yeah, both the middles were together and didn't work there. Both great professionals.
Stevie Hamill towards Lee Irwin. Can be quite hard on himself at times, Irwin. You study his body language. Son of Henry Irwin, Harry Irwin, as he's commonly known, the former Airdrie, Stenhousemuir, he's Stirlingshire and Alloa player. Travel again for Irwin. McCulloch brings it down. Lee McCulloch back in the side for Rangers today. Ferguson drawing the foul. Josh Law was the offender. Lee Wallace. It's held up in the breeze. Irwin. Scott McDonald trying to pick a pass. Foster. Miskick. Johnson was waiting to capitalise. Murdoch. There's a foul just as that was developing.
He was just impeded by Scott McDonald.
Rangers keen to get on with it. Ferguson.
Frantic style over on that left-hand side. Stephen Craggan telling us full of energy and endeavour. Just need a wee bit more quality.
Long throw from Lee Wallace. Motherwell have been pretty strong in the air throughout this game. They've been tested once more. Miller was hoping to get there. McCulloch. And long. Confident take by Motherwell's young keeper. Wallace. Ferguson. And Murdoch. Pressure was being applied by Irwin. Almost came off for Motherwell that time. Irwin again. It's a very effective spearhead. Zalewkas.
He just showed too much of the ball there to Zalewkas there. That's the little positions that Irwin wants. He wants to isolate Zalewkas in the wide area.
Stevie Hamill missing out the midfield area. Should be routine for Richard Foster. He's played his way into real trouble. Marvin Johnson, his direct opponent. Foster atoning for the initial error.
That was very, very risky. He tries to chop inside Marvin Johnson. One guy winning it. He recovers really well to concede the corner.
Johnson being told to get on with it. Pearson steering away, Johnson with it. And Ferguson. Lasley trying to keep him in check. Bobbles around there. Murdoch. Towards Zalewkas. Wallace. Ainsworth has it. Shuffle of feet from Lionel Ainsworth. Scott McDonald was nearly in. Pearson. Motherwell build again. Stephen Pearson. Scott McDonald. And Josh Law. Pumping the ball on its way to Lionel Ainsworth. Irwin in the middle. Inquiry there from Irwin. Not taken seriously by Craig Thompson. Now, and a free kick and the yellow card there. All happening at a blistering pace. And Scott McDonald sees yellow.
Loads of little battles, loads of challenges. This could have gone either way, I felt. The ball's loose. And they go competing for it. And he just catches Vučkić first.
A tension-packed afternoon. Header it was, Miller. Intended for Vučkić. Hamill remain calm, as he usually does. Johnson. At the beating of Foster. Owen off to the left. Goes through the middle though, Marvin Johnson. Defenders backing off. Took a deflection. And it goes! Misjudged by Bell. Far Park. Twisting. Shouting. Shaking. As Motherwell accelerate away from Rangers.
Oh, it's a magical run by Marvin Johnson. He's very instinctive as he picks the ball up. He shows great skills, great pace. He wriggles past 2 or 3 challenges. There's only one thing in his mind, and that's the challenge. And what happens here? This is a disaster for Cammy Bell. He goes stumbling, he doesn't sort his feet, it's swirling, and it's the wrong decision. And Fir Park erupts.
What an awful moment for Cammy Bell. Off the boot of Jaliukas, following the Johnson shot. And Bell unable to get a punch on it. It will haunt him. The flare was thrown onto the pitch in the immediate aftermath of that goal. An ashen-faced Cammy Bell. 1-0 to Motherwell on the day. 4-1 on aggregate.
Well, of course you feel for Cammy Bell. He simply can't defend him. He didn't sort his feet. Right as soon as it started looping, he was never ever comfortable. And it was a nervy prod with the fist.
And can Rangers possibly pick themselves up from this? 3 goals required by the Ibrox club at a minimum. Nicky Law trying to pass it into the stride of Chris Boyd. Ainsworth slipping and sliding. Lasley. Motherwell fans being a great voice over Connor. He got the touch on the ball. Crucial touch too with Scott McDonald lurking. Vučkić for Nicky Law. Nicky Law, who's going to be his brother Josh's best man in New York on Wednesday. The pair of them heading off together tomorrow for that wedding.
Could be a bit frosty, that one.
Jaliukas. Boyd unable to get in behind the Motherwell defence. Here at the Fir Park Fortress, Motherwell have the lead in the second leg, and it's a healthy lead on aggregate.
The shot from Johnson takes a wicked deflection of Jaliukas, but here his feet, he's trembling. Oh, he's never set. No position to punch.
Substitution time. Shane Ferguson departs the scene. His shift is over, and on comes Tom Walsh, the youngster who made such a difference with Ferguson as a substitute on Thursday.
Yeah, he was impressive when he came on the other night. He'll need something superhuman now.
Ainsworth. Johnson off to his left. Cuts into the middle, Lionel Ainsworth. McDonald offering support. Here is Hamill. Foster. Now they're ecstatic. The Motherwell supporters haven't had too much to cheer about this season. The fall from grace after the second place finish again. Well, they snatched that from Aberdeen on the final day last term under Stuart McCall.
They celebrated that day, but not to this extent. I've never seen Fir Park bounce like this for a long, long time.
The last relegated to the top flight way back in 1984 under Bobby Watson. has gone Irwin. Donald keeps going. Twist and shout has become the unofficial anthem of Motherwell Football Club, it seems. Here's Lang, to no one in particular. Who this man is, Janiukas. Rangers have 3 goals in them. There's 5 wins in the last 15 away matches. Failed to score in 6 of the last 15 on the travels. The Owen, upended by Richard Foster. Of animation from Ian Barraclough.
Loads of emotion down there, as you'd expect. So much at stake.
Nicky Clark is going to get the call. Kenny Black is discussing his responsibilities. Ainsworth for Johnson. The switch on the afterburners, tried to beat Harris Vučkić. Be a Rangers free kick. Vučkić on loan from Newcastle. There's Nicky Law. Lee Wallace. McManus really has led by example back there. These 2 games for Motherwell. The rock.
Tower of strength.
Oh, McCulloch, an accident. A lot of water to contend with as well. He's trying to keep his balance. Here's the substitution. Chris Boyd knew it. His number is up. And it will be a different look in attack for Rangers. Nicky Clark coming on for Chris Boyd. Be Chris Boyd's last kick for Rangers, we shall see. Come what may, there are going to be big changes at Ibrox during the summer.
It hasn't worked from this season at all. This was his last chance to be a hero.
He's been linked with a move back to Kilmarnock. Sort of coaching capacity there under Gary Law, we shall see. McManus. For Motherwell, it really is all about remaining as calm as still water. A little bit more than 20 minutes remaining. Confusion there. Stevie Hamill's through. Irwin. Behind him, McDonald. Irwin. Not any great rush here, the Steelmen. No substitutions yet from Ian Barraclough. Irwin. It's flattened.
Irwin just takes this in. He's controlling the knee. McCulloch just goes through the back. He's led the line really well today, Irwin.
Ainsworth with the arm raised. Who loves televised matches, I will tell you that. Tends to perform well in front of the cameras. Isn't the ideal free kick that time from Ainsworth, however. It's arguably Motherwell's man of the match in the first leg. Vučkić. Miller. Law. try to circulate the ball. Lee Wallace. Keep that one going. Gianlucas across the Rangers defence to McCulloch. Johnson. Positive player, Marvin Johnson.
He made the wrong decision there. Lionel Ainsworth was on his left-hand side as he tried to pick out Irwin.
Foster. Here's Walsh, natural runner at opponents. The 18-year-old now up to Nicky Clark. To go one way, then the other. The break of the ball finally, Clark. Chisels a corner out of it.
Just gives him a little different dimension, more mobility running up these channels.
And it's Vučkić. Oh, it would have been spectacular had it gone in. Lee McCulloch trying to play the captain's part.
It's whipped in towards the penalty spot. Goes for the spectacular. That's what's required. Just can't keep it below the bar.
A bit of taunting from the Motherwell supporters, telling the Rangers fans and Stuart McCall that they're staying down with the Highbees.
What the players have done, what the Motherwell players have done, it gives the Motherwell fans that opportunity to taunt.
I think there was a lot of misplaced talk about the Rangers Hibs matches, the winners of that, likely to beat Motherwell over two legs. Comes from Walsh. It's not in the bag for Motherwell yet, but it's very much going their way.
Up to where we are now, Derek, I just feel Premiership quality has shown through. Just in the speed of the closing down, the speed of the movement, speed of thought.
Rangers fans might say the odds are stacked against the Championship teams. This Rangers' fifth game in a fortnight, but they knew that going in because they had the power to take that out of the equation by winning the Championship. Now here's Foster popping up in attack. He's trying to find his feet, then the ball, Nicky Law. Showed too much of it to McDonald. Walsh. Kenny Miller. Battle of number 18s. Miller against Josh Law. To take the throw. What Rangers can do is try to get on the scoreboard, see what effect that has on Motherwell. Gianlucas. Foster. Richard Foster's pass for Harris Vučkić. Nicky Clark's inside the box. And Clark reaching out. Oh, he couldn't get the touch on the ball. Fresh air.
That's a chance for Clark. He did very well.
Foster. Snatched away by Lewis Lang. There's no win to try to make Gianlucas think. Hasley with McCulloch. Reddick did well that time to feed Walsh. Lewis Lang again. Successive start after missing 3 games with a thigh injury. The win. Foster slipping just off the field of play. Free kick to Rangers. 20 minutes into the second half. It's a bizarre Motherwell goal. Marvin Johnson's speculative effort. Deflection on Gianlucas. Bell. A horrific attempt at punching. Walsh. The put in the tackle when all was said and done. Johnson came away with it. McDonald. Ainsworth over there on the right. Instead it's Irwin on the left. Charge on now for Motherwell. Lee Irwin. Marius Gianlucas doing the defending. Don't forget about our SPFL season review that's coming up this Wednesday, 8:30 BT Sport 1. Our production team working feverishly on that. 8:30 on Wednesday. Nicky Clark. Hamill was staying with him. Here's Harris. Vucic. But Long holds on.
Has to watch this carefully. Vucic turning inside to the left. It's a good sight of it.
Just exiting the penalty area after releasing the ball.
He does it every time.
Mosney is warming up. Never quite know what to expect from the Tunisian international.
In front of his fans there.
Foster's header, Lasley. Motherwell's goal now to see this out and preserve their top flight status. Whoever you support, whatever your team, you've got to conclude the reintroduction of the playoffs, Premiership playoffs, a big hit. Tension, drama every step of the way. Started with Queen of the South against Rangers. 2 Rangers ex-matches. So Newcastle had to rely upon McCulloch. There was no foul apparently. Owen hitting the deck.
Yeah, he just lost the ball. McCulloch does a cross just to sweep it up. He nicks it past Lucas there. A little tug. McCulloch was there, sweeping up.
Andy Murdoch is trying to drive his team forward. Nicky Clark is looking to outpace Lewis Lang. Lasley is in a bit of trouble. Thompson blows his whistle, quickly taken by Rangers. Miller, Law, now Foster. Clark. Digging deep now, Johnson with plenty of running room. Nicky Law frantically trying to get back. Marvin Johnson. And cutting in. It's Ainsworth! It's a second for Motherwell! Another deflection! Surely now it puts the seal on it!
And this time it's the other wingman. It's marvellous Marvin Johnson with the run again, who provokes the goal. As soon as they get in this position, this guy running at the defence makes a good decision, plays it to the side. It's a wicked deflection, and it's Ainsworth with the second. Just moves it, good first touch, and Bell can do nothing. Catches Zaliukas on the way through.
On this afternoon of decision, Motherwell responding to the pressure of the occasion. 2-0 on the day, 5-1 on aggregate. And Lionel Ainsworth, who netted in the first leg, has done it again in the second.
And again, he enjoys the cameras.
He enjoys our cameras in particular, Gary. Bilal Mosney is on for Rangers. He has replaced Marius Zaliukas. They firmly believe they're staying up now, the Motherwell fans. What a day in North Lanarkshire. Bilal Mosney has been in and out of the matchday squad recently. back in the squad today. And playing in central defence. Conor Grant is going to be deployed by Ian Barraclough. That could be the end of the story for Stephen Pearson. Now he's to grin it and bear it. 100% fit. Lee Owen. And he wanted the spectacular moment there, I think. Almost to the ground. Almost all the way to No Top Avenue. Well, they're heading home. Many of the Rangers supporters seen enough. Rangers were up against it after going down 3-1 at home in the first leg. But it looks very much now Rangers will again be a second-tier side. The new season begins.
Again to a man, we're only at 70 minutes. Motherwell have been excellent right throughout their team, no passengers.
Vučkić contemplates the free kick. Stay poised to make the late run. That could have had his Vučkić. And flying in was a header from Clark. The Motherwell supporters aren't going to forget today in a hurry. Stephen Pearson is going off. Conor Grant will take his place. Well, bravery often part of it on the big occasion. We did wonder right up until the last minute before kick-off if he would actually participate. They know what they've got in Stephen Pearson, the Motherwell fans. And he's under contract until 2017.
Fantastic 70, 72, 73 minutes. To play through a hamstring, that is not easy. And that's for his teammates.
Comes on for the experienced Pearson. It will be the Netherlands against Qatar in the Toulon tournament. Our coverage tonight from 6. Tomorrow, that same tournament, Morocco against Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast from 4. China against Mexico, that's back to BT Sport 2 tomorrow from 6. So in England's group. All the programmes available through the BT Sport app and btsport.com. Johnson. Waiting ball. Wallace. It's got there before Ainsworth. Walsh. To keep going. Grant was looking to match his run. There's plenty of pace about him. Tom Walsh, Ainsworth. Slight miscue there. Here's Mosney. Has to be careful. Owen was doing his best to force a mistake. I think there are quite a few Rangers players on the pitch at the moment, in the squad at the moment, who won't be around next season. Kenny Miller, he will be around. Miller, oh, it's one of the better balls we've seen from Rangers. Out of play it goes, and it's slithering away from Stuart McCall and his team.
It's pretty desperate now. Kenny Miller dropping deeper, just trying to get involved, trying to whip a ball up to the back post.
It's going to be quite the ovation for Lionel Ainsworth as John Sutton prepares to take his place. Second season with Motherwell, 13th club of his senior career. He's found a home in North Lanarkshire, and it was Ainsworth with the second goal.
He gets fortunate with the deflection, but again he's up in support. And over the 2 games, his pace has been very, very key.
He's happy with his contribution again. John Sutton, Motherwell's top scorer, hasn't seen too much game time of late. He's on for Ainsworth. Happy to high-five just about anyone down there. Ian Bannerclough's side closing in on victory. And the importance of the first goal, so much said about that. Motherwell grabbed it. It's always going to be difficult for Rangers thereafter. Mosney, discomfited by Sutton. Foster, a bumping going on, Marvin Johnson. Mosney's pass. Once again Walsh. There's that skip in his step. McCulloch nods it back in there, and it's over and out. Vučkić.
Yeah, Walsh on the left-hand side, whips it in towards the back post. McCulloch puts it back in towards goal. Vučkić tries to deflect it back on the target.
And disappointments for John Gregg, Paul Murray, in the director's box there. Hasn't happened for Rangers in these two matches against Motherwell. Just about everything that could go right for them against Hibs did go right. There's two keenly contested matches against Queen of the South as well. And it looks as though Rangers will have to take on those two sides again in the Championship next term.
I'd have to say the Premiership class has prevailed. Motherwell have simply been better.
The great unknown going into these two matches. Would there be a gulf in quality between the Premiership and the Championship? Lee Wallace. Mosney. He fancies himself as a ball player, Bilal Mosney. Lee Owen, Donald wanted it, he's gone the other way to Johnson. Mosney goes down briefly. Marvin Johnson, it's Lee Owen, turning, shooting! And Bell with a smothering stop. Just got there in the nick of time to deny Sutton.
It's Marvin Johnson driving into the box, driving towards forward. Great cutback, great turn and shot. Falls to Son. Well, there's enough.
Rangers were saved by the bell that time. Stuart McCall not particularly happy about something down there. Well, there was no guarantee for Stuart McCall as the future Rangers manager, irrespective of what happened today. He knew his job and he took on the responsibility. It was to get Rangers up. Certainly brought stability. But his old club ruling the roost. There's Nicky Clark, there's no offside. And was it going to be Kenny Miller trying to force it towards goal? 10 minutes to go. Oh, Foster. And then really challenge on Johnson.
You could hear the crack on the shin pad from up here. This is just total frustration. Johnson. Oh, that's high and reckless.
A yellow card for Foster. Ian Bannerclough pacing around. 9 minutes to go. Motherwell, who finished 11th. Such an up and down team in the last few weeks of the season, but you and I, Gary, have seen them here at Fir Park on numerous occasions. They've tended to reserve their best form for the home matches.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see some of the performances here at Fir Park. It beggars the question: why did they finish 11th?
Mosney thwarting Irwin. There was quite a bit of good quality football played in that bottom half of the table towards the end of the season. The likes of Ross County and Motherwell, and then Kilmarnock latterly did just enough when it mattered. Here's Vucic. Kenny Miller and McCulloch in support. Lewis Lang got the ball. Conor Grant now. Come on as a substitute, the 20-year-old on loan from Everton. He's been with the Everton Academy since the age of 13. Learned a lot from Kevin Sheedy there. Final countdown very much on at Fir Park. Morgan Johnson has picked up a knock here. Well, they've been part of the narrative. Those Motherwell boys, as they like to be called. I think there is going to be a substitution. Simon Ramsden might well be deployed. The misfortune of being brought on Thursday, just seconds before the concession of the Rangers goal from Darren McGregor. He replaced the stricken Stephen Pearson in that game.
Didn't quite get organised there as they made the substitution.
Two second-half Motherwell goals, two deflections. Johnson with that shot of Gianlucas, and Cammy Bell won't want to be reminded of it. And then Johnson turning provider for Lionel Ainsworth.
And Ainsworth just crashes it towards goal, and again it's a deflection. He's been very influential, Johnson.
Yeovil were very keen to sign him. Back in January, Motherwell beat them to it. Simon Ramsden is on then. He'll have to keep things tight in the last few minutes. Motherwell 2, Rangers 0 in the second leg. Motherwell 5, Rangers 1 on aggregate. Thursday night, Motherwell's first Ibrox win since 1997. So this will be their first home win against Rangers since 2002. Conor Grant did wonderfully well, and Ramsden, having just come on, flushed his lines.
There's a little bit of a nosebleed there. Found himself in a great position. Couldn't set himself right to take on the shot.
The task too great for Rangers. 4 goals required. A little bit more than 5 minutes left. All required just to force extra time. Wallace. Irwin, high up the pitch. That'll be a goal kick. It's gone into the Davy Cooper stand. 9,220 the official attendance. Motherwell were adamant they were going to have the advantage. Crowd-wise, just 1,500 given to Rangers. Motherwell this season. Got to say, for their own purposes, they've done the right thing.
Absolutely. When you get those sort of numbers inside Fir Park, it's a good place to watch football.
Vucic. A scurry forward, Haris Vucic looking for the angle. Down he goes after the fact.
Vucic driving into the box. Just gets caught by Lang and then just goes down a bit cheaply.
The UEFA Under-21 Championship commences on the 17th of June. You'll see all the action with us. BT Sport 1. England amongst the competing teams. Czech Republic the host nation. Stuart McCall left. November. Took on the Rangers job on an interim basis in March. Certainly improved on his watch, but not sufficiently to warrant a place in the top flight of Scottish football. That's the harsh truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough summer break for Rangers. A lot of organising, a lot of recruitment, I would imagine.
John Sutton, Mosney was sticking with him. Here's Conor Grant. Very poised player, Grant. Irwin, starting to get through towards McDonald. Mosney just took the weight off that. Foster. Miller with Vucic by his side. Keith Lasley. Motherwell's captain, courageous. Nicky Law. Rangers unable to land any punches. Walsh trying to find it. Foster. George Long will certainly want the clean sheet now. The corner kick conceded. Kenny Miller decides to take the corner. He has to play it in there. Lasley away. Well, they've defended manfully in both legs of this Premiership playoff final.
Yeah, but more importantly, Derek, the counter-attack even better.
There's Mosney, tries to uncork one. George Long has custody of the ball. 90 seconds left in normal time.
This is Mosney. Goes for the long-range shot. I thought it's a decent strike.
Some Rangers supporters have said it might be beneficial for the club to stay in the Championship, to regroup and rebuild from there. But the truth is, they wanted badly to go up.
Oh yeah, they wanted to go up first time. We see the benefits of a rebuilding job. Come from a long way back, the last 2 or 3 years.
And this will hurt, as far as Rangers are concerned. Go down as one of Motherwell's finest hours. A long history of the club. It's on this day back in 1895 that they played their final match at the old DL Park. Not far from here. £12 raised and that money used to put together the new ground here at Fir Park. Inching towards the 90-minute mark. I think it's going to be just the 2 additional minutes.
So 2 minutes for the Motherwell fans to really enjoy.
It must be nice as a fan to not have to be put through an emotional mangle. It's not yet official. The Motherwell supporters know will be Premiership football next season again for them. Mosney. Andy Murdoch, and he tries to force the shot in. Fine goalkeeping by Long. McDonald. Back to Hamill. Complete post-match coverage. Darryl Curry, David Weir, Gordon Strachan, Stephen Craigan all standing by. Mark Guidi with the interviews. Significant day in Scottish football right at the end of the season. Tom Walsh manages to win the corner. I think they're going to be twisting and shouting long into the night. with it. Long, it's reaching out. Mosney finding himself tangled up. Back of the net there. Lasley. Here's Irwin. And Motherwell finish with a flourish. Lee Irwin. There he goes! Finished off anyway! John Sutton at the tail end of that, but Craig Thompson right up with play. And what's he given a penalty?
Yeah, he gave the penalty, Derek. Again, Irwin, he loves to chop the ball. He chops it inside Wallace. The penalty was given. He was all over it. Craig Thompson.
And John Sutton has been the man for spot kicks as a substitute of late. Player who looks likely to lead at the end of this campaign, the top scorer. John Sutton. One final statement from Motherwell. Safety assured. The Steelmen remain in the Premiership.
Calmly, very calmly taken. Just strolls up and just passes it to the keeper's left. Bell goes early, just slots it in.
Rangers demoralised, deflated. And there were no lingering doubts. It was decided long ago. It's going to be a long summer for Rangers. Motherwell will be a top-flight club again come the new season. It will be a 31st successive year in the top flight for the Steelmen. Rangers remain a championship side. Now there's a bit of a scuffle going on. That's not good to see. Bilal Mosney involved in it. I think Fraser Kerr got caught up in that as well. One of the Motherwell substitutes when it's all kicked off just seconds after the final whistle. Order appears to have been restored.
I think Lee Irwin's okay. There's a bit of blood. It's way out of order, it's not good.
Let's see what happened, Gary.
There's a push there, and then he volleys him, and then there's a strike.
And Mosley will likely say he was provoked into that. We have the obligatory pitch invasion. The Motherwell supporters are jubilant. They're taunting the Rangers fans. Rangers stay in the Championship. Motherwell remain in the Premiership. 3-0 the final score for Motherwell today. 6-1 on aggregate.
Welcome back to Fir Park. Motherwell are staying up. In the end, it was relatively easy. 6-1 on aggregate. Gordon Strachan, Davy Weir and Stephen Craigan are around the desk. Some terrible scenes at the end of the game, though, and this is exactly what we don't need to see after a match like this. It's Lee Irwin and Bilal Mosney involved here as they were walking off the pitch. Gordon, this is just not good for our game, is it?
Well, I think that me and the two lads are coming along here to talk about football, and it's unfortunate because there's a 6-0, 6-1 victory over two legs to a terrific Motherwell side, you know, and a Motherwell side that, if they keep together, will add to the Premiership next year. And I find it very hard to speak about things like that because, as I say, I just come along and speak. The pictures, your cameraman's caught it. Pictures speak for itself. What setting Mosney to that mood, and talking to the lads here, I don't think it takes too much. That can't be condoned. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. But I'll go back to again that I've seen fantastic performances here this afternoon. Steve McManus, Pearson, McDonald, Lasley, Hamley, sorry. The better team win because they're the better players with a better discipline.
And we will come back to that performance. But Stephen, that apparently continued all the way up the tunnel.
I think Lee Irwin has a part to play as well, Darryl. You know, as much as he put his hand out to shake Mosney's hand, if Mosney doesn't want to do it, let him go. Motherwell had a job to do and they've done it. But the fact to antagonise him by pushing him, you know, there's no need. because as Gordon says, it doesn't take much to send Mosney off on a rant or a rave or to do it, you know. So, you see there's Lee Irwin, just let him go. He doesn't want to shake your hand, that's fine, unsporting, whatever you want, but you've won the game. Don't antagonise him and start the issue. Of course, Mosney shouldn't have reacted, but he did.
Blood coming out of his mouth, Lee Irwin, as he was going up the tunnel. Whatever happened afterwards was awful. Exactly what we don't need to say, as I've already said. You want to just get into the dressing room, surely. If you're a Rangers player, it's a terrible day for them, Davy.
Yeah, and we're talking about things we shouldn't be talking about. We should be talking about Motherwell, who've won the game fair and square, and over 2 legs have deservedly stayed in the league, and that's the story. So we're talking about this, and hopefully he gets punished for his behaviour, but it shouldn't be what we're talking about.
It was a brilliant day for Motherwell overall, and 6-1 in a 2-leg playoff that many people, I think, thought Rangers could win. It was 6-1 in the end, Stephen.
Well, in the build-up to the first game, it seemed irrelevant that Rangers were playing Motherwell, that actually they had an opponent, because all the talk was Rangers are going back up, Old Firm games are back, Rangers are going to add to the Premiership. Everybody had written Motherwell off. I think generally for Motherwell it's relief rather than celebration, as much as a celebration of staying up. It's a little warning sign that if things aren't done properly, players don't perform and they don't do well over the season, they'll leave a chance of getting relegated. So it's certainly a big warning sign for Motherwell, but I think a lot of relief around this place.
All the fans are off the pitch at the moment, which is good news, because hopefully the Motherwell players can come back out and see their fans. But let's get some reaction right now from the Motherwell dressing room. Stephen McManus and Stephen Pearson are with Mark Guidi.
Stephen, a really good victory for Motherwell. How do you feel to have retained your SPFL Premiership status?
Yeah, listen, it's relief more than anything. Emotions were running high before the game, before Thursday as well, so it was important that we tried to be professional and keep a cool head. I felt we'd done that over the 2 games, so I think we deserved it overall. I think Rangers, like I said, Rangers have been through the mire in the last few years as a club, and it's always unfortunate when you see something like that to such a club with such stature. But for us, we can only concentrate on what was right for us, and we tried to maintain a level of professionalism, a level of consistency, and keep a cool head when emotions were running high. And I felt we did that over the 2 games.
Stephen, a worrying moment for you before the game. Were you almost pulling out with the injury?
Yeah, I had a tight hamstring from the first game. Just done well to see as long as I did. So as Mick says, we're delighted with the performance and disappointed with the sour note at the end there, but I'm sure you guys will look after that.
What exactly happened in terms of on the pitch there at the end?
I'm not sure actually, I'd need to see it back, but I think Mosney's kicked Lee Irwin and then punched him. That's what I've seen, and then obviously all the bodies come in the melee, so I'm sure the TV will pick that up and make the decision and take the right action.
Stephen, you talked about cool heads prevailing, and you certainly showed that over the 2 legs.
Yeah, we did. Listen, we certainly felt that since the manager came in, that as players, I think we let the club down where we finished in the league table, and a lot of people had written us off. But we never bought into it. I think a lot of experts and the people that report on the games, a lot of ex-players, current players, they maybe felt Rangers were the better team than us, but we certainly felt we had more than enough, and ability-wise, but more in character. Games like this, it's about who can handle the occasion, and I felt over the 2 games, I felt as a group collectively we handled both occasions what Rangers did.
Stephen, you're the BT Sport man of the match. Stephen, if you could do the honours, well played, lads. Enjoy your break.
Cheers, thanks.
Cheers, Matt, thank you.
Well, they mentioned that incident on the pitch, and sadly that is what might dominate the headlines in the papers the next few days, but we should also be concentrating on how good Motherwell were, and those 2 players as well. Stephen, men you know very well.
Well, again, you go back to the pre-build-up of the first leg, and we analysed a little bit where we felt at times Motherwell's experienced players hadn't brought their head above water. Maybe 1 or 2 had, but McDonald, Pearson, Hamill, McManus, they hadn't done it collectively. I think over the 2 legs that's what they've done. Gordon said it during the game, big game players, Steve McManus, Scott McDonald, Stephen Pearson have played in Old Firm games, played in European games. So going to Ibrox and coming here wasn't going to faze them. They've got the mentality, they've got the composure, and they've got the ability, and they brought it all to the table. And over the 2 legs, Motherwell completely deserved to win the tie.
Maybe in the end, when you look back at the whole season now, maybe the likes of Stephen Pearson and Scott McDonald coming back to this club with just a few weeks to go when they were in trouble, maybe that was the difference.
I was speaking to somebody yesterday about what makes a good manager. It's really recruitment, a lot about recruitment, and they've recruited well. The manager has recruited well. I thought about decisions as well, picking the right players, but their decisions in picking their players was terrific, I thought. And once they got a settled side, Motherwell, they'd become better as it went on, and they peaked at this point. But there's a point where people can peak at this point or crumble. Stephen McManus and his mates were fantastic here. And Stephen said that Rangers had the better players. I don't think so. I think Motherwell have got the better players. I think that was a big difference. Their discipline, they can play in big games, but I thought the better players belong to Motherwell over the two legs.
It was never going to be easy for Ian Barraclough to come into the club, take on what Stuart McCall had effectively laid the foundations for over a number of years, Davey, but he has put his own stamp on that team, and the way he set them out against Rangers in both legs, it was job well done.
Yeah.
And some.
Yeah, I think they were thoroughly deserved to win over the two ties. I'm sure Ian won't be celebrating, you know, because they don't want to be in the playoffs or playing in big games for reasons like that. But success to stay in the league, so I'm sure he'll build on that. But ultimately, they'll be looking to be higher up the table and challenging at the top. But they've deserved it over two legs, definitely.
I'm just hearing all that trouble at the end. 3 red cards have been handed out. Fraser Kerr, Lee Irwin and Bill Elmosney. That's the aftermath. 3 red cards for what we saw on the pitch at the end. Players with blood in their mouths walking up and finishing a game like that. Stephen, that is unfortunately the shame what we're discussing here, and this is a horrible incident.
Well, because of the enormity of the game and the repercussions of a club staying in the top flight and a club who are desperate to get back there, Darryl, not making it, it was always going to be an edge. You know, as much as we said there was an edge in the play, there was an edge among players. There was a little edge among the fans. You could sense towards the end, coming onto the pitch, kind of nearly coming together just behind us. So there was so much at stake, financially so much at stake for both clubs. So it's, you know, it's not what we want to see.
Do you know what Ferguson used to say about defenders? Do not sign emotional defenders.
Yeah.
If you look at Stephen McManus today, never at any time did he look that the game got too much for him. And Mosney comes on, the game's too much for him. Yeah. Playing for Rangers is too much for him. Yeah. And he thinks more about himself than the team and Glasgow Rangers. Until you get that back, that it's all about the team and Glasgow Rangers, then you'll have a problem getting out.
Yeah. You'd have to suggest he'd probably never play for the club again after a day like this. In fact, there's going to be a lot of work done now for the summer for Rangers, because they have a big rebuilding job to do.
There is, yeah, there's a lot to change. You know, it's unacceptable for Rangers to be another season in the Championship, and everybody's disappointed with that, and you know, the club needs to get back to where it needs to be. But you know, they've got to put performances in. They don't earn it. They've got to earn it. Sorry, nobody's going to put them there, and they didn't earn it today. That's the bottom line.
We should change the mood. It's all a little bit sombre looking back in those pictures. It's about Motherwell today, isn't it? And they're about to come back onto this pitch, which is all cleared now. And the fans behind them, so many of them have stayed, Gordon, because, well, they're desperate to say well done. Nobody wants to finish in that relegation playoff, finish 11. But it's character to get through it, and they've done just that under Ian Barraclough.
Well, I've got to say that looking from it, to dig themselves from where they were 2 months ago and the way they were playing, and to put on a performance like that, there's some management and character building to do that. I don't think it was possible to beat Rangers 6-1 from where they were, Motherwell, a couple of months ago. I really didn't think that was possible.
The players are coming out, big ovation, but Ian Barraclough, their manager's waiting to talk to us. He's with Mark.
Ian, you've stayed up. How do you feel?
Emotionally wrecked. I'm drained, but I'm so pleased for everybody connected with the football club. It's been a real team effort from the players through the coaching staff who have supported me and the players fantastically well. Everyone connected with the club. You come in every day, people's smiles on faces. It's been a tough season for us, and I'm pleased for them.
You feel it's deserved over the two legs?
Very much so. And you can't argue with the scoreline. We went to Ibrox and did some damage there, and we came back here and we weathered a storm early on, and we expected that. There was a lot of nerves, but the boys showing a fantastic appetite to go and dig in and then go and play.
You can now go and build for next season and have a full season at it.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of work to be done as well in the summer. You know, there'll be players departing. We have to make sure that we do the right business, what we can within the constraints of the budget, but come back stronger and make sure we're not in this position next year.
You mentioned players could be leaving. The likes of Scott McDonald is out of contract. Is he a guy you would like to keep here next season? Yeah,
listen, we spoke to Scotty. Scotty has come here on a short-term contract. I think he'll have one or two options, but I'll speak to him. He's been fantastic since he's come in. He's joined part of a group that has gone and had a great appetite to go and work together as a bunch, and you know, you can't beat that. Individuals are all very good at the time, but it's the team ethic and the team group that gets you through.
Just at the end there, Ian, some ugly scenes on the pitch. What was your take on it all?
Yeah, I was trying to console Stuart and the Rangers lads trying to shake hands, and all of a sudden I saw the melee, so I didn't know what kicked it off, and I still don't know. But unsavoury scenes. Football doesn't need that. There's no place in football for anything like that. You know, you battle hard on the pitch, and after the 90-95 minutes, you shake hands and you move on, and it's disappointing to see that.
Well done, enjoy your summer.
Thank you very much.
Well, Stephen, what's the biggest difference you think he's made since Baraclough arrived at the club?
Bringing in Stephen Robinson as an assistant manager. I worked with Stephen for 2 years in the Northern Ireland setup, and he knows the game inside out. Tactically, he's very good. You know, I've seen in the 2 games against Rangers how they've set up, how they've counter-attacked. They've worked and worked and worked on it. So, you know, a lot of credit to Ian for bringing him in, but also for Ian to, you know, retain that belief amongst his players. Coming 11th in the league, it would have been very difficult to try and pick players up, motivate them, get them going to try and stay in the top flight.
They can soak up the applause, and there's lots and lots still to come for us. We're hoping to hear from Stuart McCall in that Rangers dressing room. That'll come shortly. We'll see you soon. Motherwell can celebrate. They're still in the Premiership. The management team absolutely delighted. They're Ian Baraclough and Stephen Robinson, and the fans can soak it all up as well. Let's get some more reaction. Lee Irwin is with Mark Weedy.
Lee, Motherwell have managed to beat Rangers and stay up. How are you feeling?
Brilliant, brilliant. Although I support Rangers as a young boy, but Motherwell's a team for me, and it's got to keep where they belong. I mean, Rangers can make their turn.
There's also an incident at the end there between yourself and Bilal Mosney. What exactly happened?
I tried to shake his hand, we wish you all the best, and he's told me F off, and then he's reacted badly, so I pushed him away. He's reacted badly, but I played at a club at that level, should not be acting like that. It's embarrassing for him in the club, so wish him all the best.
Over the 2 legs, you feel Motherwell deserve to stay up?
Yeah, battered them. Class above them. Home and away.
Well done today. Thanks for joining us, Lee.
He's a young man, but he has been through a lot today. As you can see, he bears a few scars, I think. But Motherwell and Ian Baraclough will be desperate to keep him next season. He's made an impact, hasn't he, Gordon, these last few weeks and today?
He's made an impact in the last 30 seconds. There are obviously no media training here at Motherwell. But he's obviously a bit excited, and I think he's an excitable young player. You know, he plays off the cuff at the moment and does fantastic things. I'm still getting over the interview, by the way. He does some fantastic things. As I said to you, he resembles a young Matt McGee, or 6 stone ago from Matt McGee. And he can go and beat people, take people on. He can play on his own. And I think he actually likes playing on his own, because sometimes the people who are unpredictable like that, can he link up with people? And he goes in behind, he'll beat people, hold the ball up. So that he's got a lot going for him.
I think that's the word, unpredictable. He runs at them. I'm not sure all the time he knows what he's about to do next, but usually there's an end result.
Yeah, he is. He's a handful, and he made himself difficult to play against today. And I think he's got a big future in the game. Maybe needs to work a little bit on the media side of things, but his football's not bad.
I think Keith Lasley needs to work on the singing. Twist and shouts going on out there. Your friend Stephen.
Well, it's all about emotion. It's all relief. Darryl, what I spoke about earlier. Keith's certainly not a singer. I've been in karaoke bars with him before, and he doesn't sing very well, but most importantly, he's enjoying himself. He's an experienced player who's been here for a long time. He made a bold statement with maybe 10 days ago. He said Motherwell will not be relegated. I can guarantee the fans. It's a big guarantee, but he's fulfilled it.
He's an absolute stalwart, isn't he, for the club? And it is men like that in the big games that you want. And that middle of the park was excellent today for Motherwell, Gordon.
Listen, he's a terrific player. It's just a pity he didn't have much pace. If he had pace, he'd be up there at international level, because you come along and watch Motherwell, and no matter who you send along to Motherwell or coach, they always say that Lasley played well. He's always there. Because he's not quick, he has to think about the game, get himself in good positions, and invariably when it wins it back, he gives you a good pass to start the counter-attack.
Davey, you played for many years late into your career, and Lasley, can a guy that perhaps could do the same?
Yeah, definitely. He controls the middle of the park, and him, I liked Steve McManus today. I thought were really big players for them, and they were calm, as Gordon said there. They were calm, they showed composure, and they saw them through the game, which was a really big game for both teams, and they were the ones that deserved it today.
Okay, other side of the coin now. Not a good day for Rangers at all, or for Stuart McCall. That's Ian Baraclough on the pitch, as you can see, addressing the fans. We've already heard from him, of course. The fans are as well now. Let's hear from his counterpart, Stuart McCall, with Mark Weedy.
Stuart, you've not managed to do it. How do you feel?
Yeah, naturally disappointed. I think people remember the last 30 minutes, but the first goal was all important today, and it's a cruel deflection. I think as the second goal is, I think they've scored 3 goals out of 5 have been deflections, but over the piece we've not been good enough against them. You know, we play into hands second half again because we go a goal behind and we have to go a little bit gung-ho. But no, naturally disappointed. I'm proud that we've taken it to this last day. I know I'm pleased with a lot of things that had happened, but obviously over the last 2 games, a 30-minute spell at Ibrox, you know, we lost 3 goals in, and then losing the first goal today, that's what it was all about. And you know, we huffed and puffed first half, we had a couple of opportunities we didn't take. They've defended well, I suppose, but sometimes in football, you know, you just need a little bit of lady luck, and you know, if we'd have got a little deflection, who knows? But it wasn't to be, and they were the better side over the 2 games.
You're now out of contract yourself, Stuart. Would you like the job for next season? Yes,
of course I would, yeah. And I think, you know, if you look at, you know, what the club will need next year, it's probably, you know, what I'm, you know, my 3 strongest points are is recruitment, getting the best out of players and improving them. So, obviously, it's a fantastic club to work for. There's still a lot of good players that'll be here next season. Obviously, I mean, I look at, obviously, you know, he's managed to bring 7-8 players in January there. How Motherwell finished in the 11th, I don't know, with the likes of, you know, Pearson, McDonald, etc. But they did, and over the two games they were better. But yeah, I think naturally disappointed, but there's, you know, there's work to be done, and it's a fantastic club to work for, and I would like to work for it, obviously. And I think, you know, what the club needs next year, I can provide.
Do you hope to have a meeting with Dave King and Paul Murray this week and sort it out?
Yeah, I'll have a meeting shortly, and we'll see where we go from there. But as I say, it's a bit raw at the minute because we're disappointed in what's happened. But you know, I look at Alan Stubbs, beginning of this season, had a clean sweep, and he brought a lot of his own players in, and they've done well. And I think whoever comes in to manage this football club is going to be a great opportunity to bring their own players in, work with their own players. I can't have asked any more from the players that they've given us since we've been in the club. I've got to say that. We might have lacked a bit of quality here and there, obviously. But for desire and pulling themselves together and getting to where people probably doubted would even get to, over the Queen of the South games, and obviously then over against Hibs. Maybe the 2 games are just a step too far, but that's football, that's life. You've got to just get on with it, and unfortunately, it's going to be another season before we you know, Rangers can get back or get an opportunity to get back to the top flight.
Thanks, Stuart.
Cheers, thank you.
Rangers will reflect on another disappointing season. Motherwell and Ian Barraclough can celebrate. I think more twist and shout is going on there into the fans. That's the section of the stadium which have been loudest all season long. And it looks like they absolutely love him at the moment. That is the picture at Fir Park, and well, I think the celebrations are going to go on for quite a while. And he came over and said well done to Stephen Craigan as well. I think a wee wave over here. Yeah, he's been with us a few times, Ian Barraclough, this season, and he'll look back on another. It's a big win in the end. It's 3-0 today, 6-1 overall, although I don't think Cammy Bell will look fondly back on this first goal. David, we said at the start that maybe he needed a big day for Rangers. This is a horrible moment.
Yeah, it is. He'll be disappointed with that, Cammy. He can't get away from it. It's a mistake, and you know, it's well into the game. It's not the, you know, decisive moment in the tie probably, but it made it very difficult for Rangers from then. So Cammy won't, you know, I think he's backtracking, a little bit of panic, and just makes the wrong decision, and you know, it's disappointing for him. I'm sure he'll be more disappointed than anyone. Maybe
punching there was the most difficult thing he could have done, and then of course it got worse for Rangers, better for Motherwell, Stephen.
Well, this was the counter-attack, and we've seen a lot off in the first tie, and it was the same. As soon as Motherwell got one, Darryl, gaps were going to open up. Marvin Johnson and Lionel Ainsworth were going to get a lot of space to run in, play into, and it just showed you, 14 seconds from winning the ball to putting the ball in the back of the net. That's been the difference in the tie, is pace in the game.
And then this just rounded it all off, doesn't it? They won a penalty late on, Lee Irwin, again running at defenders, and John Sutton scores it.
Well, they've done their job properly in the first half. First 30 minutes they sat back, let Rangers come on to them, and then after that, if there's any chance of counter-attack, they went and did it. If there's any consolation to Cammy Bell, the fact is that Rangers never looked like scoring before that. It's not like it was a thing that Rangers were attacking and making chances, and Cammy's got to look at himself, I've cost them the game. It's 6. That's 1 goal. It's 6 goals they've scored, and only 1 from Rangers from a set play. So if there's any consolation to Cammy Bell, it didn't change the whole tie.
6 is a lot overall. Stuart McCall, his future, you heard him talk to us just a couple of minutes ago there. Do you think he can get this job still, your old manager, Stephen?
Well, Stuart touched on it there, Darryl. From where Rangers were when he took over, if that previous management had still been there, or someone else had come in, I don't believe they would have been even in this position to be taking the game to the last game of the season. Stuart has motivated, he's got them going, he's got them organised. You know, the players were deflated, they didn't really want to play for Rangers, it looked like, so he's taken them so far. So yeah, I would like to see him get the job.
As you know, many men have been linked with that job, including Mark Warburton, the man you worked with last season, of course, at Brentford as well. I'm not sure if there's any link there or not, Davey. I don't know if you can tell us anything about that, but out of respect for Stuart McCall, he's been with us and he's obviously done very well. He took on the job at a very hard moment.
He did. He's taken on a difficult job. You know, it's a hard club to manage at the best of times, as Gordon knows. You know, working in Glasgow is difficult, and Stuart has got them in a position whereby they're challenging. They had a chance of getting back in the Premier League. Unfortunately, never got there, and you know, that's unfortunate for everybody, but see what happens.
And Dave King now needs to outline the plans for the future, doesn't he, Stephen? Because a lot of Rangers fans will be watching thinking next season they've got to go back to the Championship with the likes of Hibs.
Well, you think they could be back in training in 4 weeks, Darryl? Decisions have to be made quick, players have to know if they're leaving, and players have to know if they've got an opportunity to come to Rangers, they need to rebuild again.
Big rebuilding job to do. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. I enjoyed your company, and all the very best in the next few days and the coming weeks. Scotland have got some big games, and we've really enjoyed being with you all season long on BT Sport, our coverage in Scotland. We hope you've enjoyed it as well. We'll see you soon in August. Bye bye.